On today's episode, well, maybe they should have called this movie 7 Fast and 7 Furious. Now grab your tickets because we're getting to the theater. Welcome to the show. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Jeremy.
Today we're talking about 2015's Furious 7, or Fast and Furious 7.
I enjoyed this movie.
I hope so. You picked it.
I did.
We've been slowly going through the entire franchise. We finally made it up to 7, and Erica had an excuse to watch it.
Yeah, it's been about 3 years we've been working our way through this series.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the furthest I ever made it in this franchise. After Paul Walker sadly died while they were making it, I stopped. I was like, there's no need to keep watching these.
Honestly, for me, I watched 2 and I was like, it can't get better than this.
Right? The second one was the best one. Yeah.
The best one.
See, my favorite one was 5.
I
like the heist one in Rio.
Well, 5 is when it changed.
Yeah, that's when they made a conscious decision to change.
No, it was
how the
4.
series was.
It was
it
4?
It was 4.
Are you sure?
4 is the one where they just called it Fast and Furious. They dropped the thes, and they did it's like a soft reboot.
Okay.
But wasn't it still about like street racing in 4? Because they kind of did like a genre, like a full genre switch, where they're just like, this is now an action series.
There's definitely street racing in 4. We should probably do a recap of the first 6 films.
Oh no.
Now, if you would like to watch these movies in order for this to make sense, you should probably watch them 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, then 7.
Yeah, because we see Han's death.
The character Han, who's introduced in the 3rd film, dies, and at the beginning of the 4th movie, he's alive again. He's in the 5th film, and he's in the 6th film. And there's a little stinger scene at the end of 6 that shows Han's death, but it shows that Jason Statham is the one who kills him. Mm-hmm. And that plays into part of this movie early on. So there's a little bit of overlap in the timeline between 3 and 7. So in this movie, the family is being hunted down by Jason Statham, who is Deckard Shaw. He's the brother of Luke Evans' character from the 6th film, who was using Letty as a henchman.
Because Letty had amnesia.
From her fake death in the 4th movie. Mm-hmm. These movies are like soap operas. They kill characters and they bring them back.
Which might explain why I love them so much, because I do love soap operas.
There's also several other characters who have died that they came back in later films, past where I've seen.
No one dies in this film.
No one but the few people in the original movie. I mean, they killed Vince in 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but most of the characters, if they die, they come back. If they're good guys, or if they just need them to join the family.
Yes.
Family never dies.
So Shaw, Statham's character, wants revenge for what they did to his brother, and he's like some super badass, military-trained assassin.
Is he an assassin?
Yeah, they specifically use the word assassin.
Okay, because I was very confused what he was.
So basically like his character from several of his other films?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the exact same
Yeah. This movie opens up with him visiting his brother in the hospital, and this is the easiest money Luke Evans has ever had to make, because he doesn't move in the entire scene. It honestly could be a dummy of him, and I would believe it. Because he doesn't move at all.
Or even CGI.
Or it could be CGI.
It could be just like a person laying in the bed, and then they like fake planted Luke Evans' face. Because they did that in this movie.
They do that to somebody else in this movie.
Yeah.
How much did they pay him?
Good question.
What's his name?
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans' character is...
Owen Shaw.
Owen. Yep. So he was the big bad in the 6th film. Mm-hmm. Statham basically destroys this fucking hospital to get into the room
for
to see him.
no reason.
What's really cruel is that when he's leaving, he takes that grenade and blows that one guy up. That guy didn't need that.
Right? The doctors were just trying to, do their job. But now that he killed all those people, his brother could be dying.
Yeah, Jason Statham, not a good guy.
He could have accidentally... Wait, is he alive? Is he still alive in the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously. Otherwise, they would have taken him out of the hospital. I'm not using my brain today. But
Oh,
yeah,
you're fine.
he definitely could have accidentally killed him,
He could've
destroying
done
that
some-
hospital.
He could have done some kind of damage to the building and could have ruined the life support that his brother was on.
Right?
He could have caused his own brother's death.
That was a bad opening.
But it shows how badass he is.
It was a badass opening, but it was also a bad opening.
So then we see that Dom and Letty are driving around. They're heading to Race Wars, which was something we haven't seen since the original film,
Race Wars.
which is still an awful name. It's not good.
It's very,
And this movie takes place in L.A.
it's very much a name of its time.
Very, and they should have changed it.
Yeah.
Letty still has partial amnesia in this movie. She doesn't fully remember everything because at the beginning of 6, she's working for Baby Shaw, and she's a quote-unquote villain. But at the end of the movie, she realizes, oh, these people were my family,
Family.
so I'm going to join them. And now she's back with Dom, but again, she still doesn't remember everything.
They look like, no matter, even when they're like cleaned up, they all look so dirty in this film.
I think it's because they're riding around these cars with no air conditioning, and they're riding through a California desert. So it's probably nice and hot in there. And at the race war thing, Letty races some dude and wins. And there's 2 good little cameos after her race.
Yes.
I'm not going to say, let me phrase that. Not good, but there's 2 cameos. One's pretty fucking random. It's Iggy Azalea is in one scene of this film, the Australian rapper.
Well, it is 2015, and she did just drop an album, like, maybe a year or 2 before this.
I'm surprised you remember that.
That Iggy Azalea dropped that album?
Yeah.
I bumped that album, like, hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It hit, like, it's in the top of my 2014 Spotify.
I've heard 2 of her songs. That's it.
I love that album so much. Black Widow with Rita Ora, so good. I still listen to that. It's so good.
I don't even think there's any Iggy Azalea music in this movie.
No.
It's just she has one little cameo at this race wars thing at the beginning. And then our boy, who was in last week's episode, and the original movie from 14 years before this, Hector. He was one of the Mexican gang members in Training Day that was going to kill Ethan Hawke.
Hector Multiverse.
Yeah.
Well,
He's the guy that finds the wallet in Ethan Hawke's pocket that saves his life.
And if we're being honest, you know, finding out that they're tied together makes sense. It feels right.
Yeah, Jeremy texted us about 2 weeks ago when you watched the movie about Hector being in this, and I had totally forgot he came back. Mm-hmm. So we have a theory that this man, his name is Noel, has a Hector multiverse going on.
Oh, yeah.
Hector Multiverse.
When Letty wins the race, everyone's cheering for her, and she kind of has a panic attack. And Hector comes up and grabs her, and she punches him in the face.
And he's still so happy about it. I've never seen a man so happy to be punched.
He realized he was in the wrong. He came up behind and picked someone up without their consent. Mm-hmm. So he realized he was in the wrong.
He might be into it.
He's a friend of theirs. He's also a gentleman. Hey, I made a mistake. I'll take that punch.
And he did apologize.
But and then it's funny though because when she has her panic attack, she gets in Dom's car and drives away. Just leaves him there.
Yep. I mean, somebody will take Dom home.
Dom knows like everybody here.
Right. He's probably won 4 of their pink slips.
This movie was wild.
I mean, it's a Fast and Furious film, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Dominic Toretto only wears 3 things.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
I actually said something about that
Yeah.
during the film. I was like, he looks weird without a tank top on.
When he's got the
I love when they flash back to their wedding.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's when I was
Oh
just
my
like, are you
God.
serious right now?
No, I was thinking of the shirt he wears at the end fight on the parking garage. It's almost like an undershirt.
Oh, yeah.
That white long sleeve. Mm-hmm. It's weird seeing him in long sleeves because he usually wears these damn tank tops.
Even at his wedding.
It's so bad. It's so bad. All white.
They need to put Groot in a tank top.
Yes.
Oh, that'd
Yes.
be funny. That'd be funny. And then you got Brian, played by the late Paul Walker.
R.I.P. Don't worry about Paul Walker.
Don't worry about Paul Walker. Now, we have to explain that. So on the We Hate Movies podcast, years ago, they did an episode on She's All That.
Yes.
Which has a very young Paul Walker in it. And they made a joke in that episode about Paul Walker's career. Like, hey, he's got those Fast and Furious movies. Don't worry about Paul Walker. And like a week later, Paul Walker died.
Yikes.
Yeah. It was bad timing.
But hilarious.
So check out the We Hate Movies podcast. They're really funny guys. But we see Brian in a car, and it looks like he's revving up for a race. You see these harsh close-ups on his eyes and these cuts to him like having a hand on the shifter in the wheel. He's in a minivan. He's dropping his kid off at school. That's the gag.
And he like doesn't know how to like operate the doors to open the doors, despite the
Yeah.
fact he owns this minivan.
Yeah, the automatic sliding doors. He's trying to find the button. It's cute though, seeing him with Jack.
Yeah.
He's like, "Give me a high five, little guy."
Because he's a good dad.
He is a good dad, and that's what he was worried about in the 5th movie when we found out that his girlfriend, played by Jordana Brewster. I suddenly can't remember her character's name. Mia.
Mm-hmm.
When Mia was pregnant, he was worried he wouldn't be a good father, but come to find out, he's a great dad. The next thing we see is Letty
visiting her own grave.
Yeah, that's
Very morbid.
Yeah,
that's the word, morbid.
It's weird that it's still there. Like, she's been alive for a good bit at this point. Cause,
Yeah, she's been back and realized who she was for a little while now.
yeah, well, because at least, 5 years? Because Jack is in kindergarten.
No, because she came back in 6 when Jack was already born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jack was born by then. So it's probably been, let's say 3 years maybe? Because Jack was still a toddler.
Okay.
What even would be the process of getting your own tombstone removed once, it comes out that you were actually alive?
I guess you have to,
Oh, good question.
Cause
Somebody
they already
paid for that.
Yeah, they paid for it. Her death is on it, so
They
someone
bought
has
the plot.
Exactly.
But the
Matter of
process...
fact, she didn't pay for it, so could she even get it removed?
Yeah.
They're just like,
Hey,
hey,
I'm this person. I'm not
yeah.
dead.
Or maybe hey, can y'all just chisel off that date and we can put a TB, a TBD?
To be determined.
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
Something.
you could do the route to remove it like Vin Diesel was planning to do. Dom brought a sledgehammer and he was going to demolish that fucking thing.
To be fair,
He brings that everywhere.
that's his emotional support sledgehammer because it's everywhere.
He always has some tools in his fucking car. They're riding shotgun just like Letty.
The man literally has hammer space.
Uh-huh. Then it cuts to is it the DEA headquarters where Hobbs works, Dwayne Johnson?
I have no idea.
No idea. I just know he works for the government with no security.
Yeah, there's no security in this fucking building. But we see him and we see Elena.
Who is Chris Hemsworth's wife?
Oh, this is his wife?
That's his wife.
Oh, damn. We talked about it yesterday, and
Yeah.
I didn't remember what character it was. Okay, so Elena, who has been in the last 3 of these films, she was introduced in 5. She's dating Dom in 6 when he thinks Letty is dead. And when Letty comes back, Elena's kind of like, all right, well, I know he's not going to want me anymore, so she kind of dips.
Wow.
And now she's working for Hobbs. I like Elena.
Yeah, she's the only reason I put up with The Rock in these films.
And see, I don't hate I liked his introduction in the 5th film. He has that great little brief monologue about what these guys can do and what we're gonna do to catch them. And he says the one rule is we don't let them get into cars. And he's always wet in that 5th movie.
He's so wet.
If you watch that movie, there's never a scene where he's dry.
He's wet in this movie.
Yeah, he's sweating literally when you meet him in his office stamping paperwork.
Didn't Vin Diesel say something about him using too much baby oil or something like that when they were feuding about the movies?
No. So there's a scene at the end of 6. So in the 6th film, they're still considered criminals. They're wanted. They can't be in the United States. They are rich from that robbery from the 5th film. And the deal was if they help Dwayne Johnson catch Owen Shaw, he'll wipe their slates clean and they can come back home. They're free. And there's a scene at the end of 6 when they're having their cookout. They're back at the house from the original movie. Tyrese, who plays Roman,
One of my favorite characters.
Yes.
is over by the grill with Ludacris, who plays Tej. And I like Tej.
Tej was great.
Also a great character.
And The Rock comes walking up. He's got this little dossier. And he goes, Mia, better hide your baby oil.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And The Rock comes back with, which is apparently an improvised line. He goes, you better hide that big-ass forehead.
Damn.
And then you see Tej spit out, he does a spit take because he's laughing. But apparently none of that was scripted.
Damn.
And they kept it in the movie, which was funny. But there's so much drama behind the scenes with this whole cast and crew. And a lot of it stems from between The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, there's not enough room in these movies for 3 bald-headed badass characters.
But the problem is they all want to be the big macho guy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the big strong one.
That's who they play
It's
in
like,
their
dude,
movies.
You're an actor. You're not the big strong guy. You are an actor. You can lose a fight. It's because it's not real. It's okay. It's not real.
Nah.
It's imaginary.
Have y'all yet watched that movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I have not
No.
seen it.
Y'all should watch that movie.
I definitely want to watch it.
There's some good information in the beginning about how the audience understands what they're viewing on screen. Because, I'm sure y'all have heard about a lot of actors just being harassed by people because of the characters that they have played.
Oh, absolutely.
They get harassed by them as if, these people believe this is real stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there are whole people I don't like because of the characters they
Right.
played. Yeah.
And like some people take that too far.
Yeah, like look what happened with the lady who played Rose in Star Wars, Kelly Marie Tran.
Oh, yeah.
She got death threats and shit because of a character she was hired to play.
She was
Not a
bullied off the internet.
Yeah, not a character she created or wrote. She was hired. Hey, we're gonna have you play pretend and pretend to be this person that we created. Mm-hmm. Cool. That's the job I'm getting paid for. And the world just shit on her.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But just for what the general audience understands, if they see The Rock get beat up on screen, no matter what you tell them, The Rock got beat up on screen. If somebody sees The Rock on the street, they're going to think about, oh, you got beat up on screen. That's especially if they see it happen more than once. They're going to be like, oh, you basically just get beat up when you pop up on the screen. That's what your character does. Don't matter what movie you're in. You get beat up. You're that guy. So, I mean, honestly, that's what we know. When we see The Rock, we know what character he is automatically when we see him in a movie.
Even when I see The Rock, which is annoying, I still see the wrestler, The Rock, no matter like what he's in. Like every time he's fighting, like especially in the scene when he's fighting Decker, I'm always like, I need him to drop that people's elbow. Like even when I see Batista and he's like, no matter when he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, I need that man to do a Batista bomb from the top rope.
However, we know that even the character of The Rock, that's a character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who that guy actually is. Mm-hmm. But we know him as that character. So if you do a certain thing on screen too many times, that is what people are going to start to recognize you for.
Yeah.
And probably if you go outside anywhere, they're probably going to bring it up.
I need him to do it once to stop being the big strong guy in a movie. Because almost every movie he does, he plays the same style of character, which is why I kind of find him a little boring.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that's intentional. That's the character he decided that he wanted to play.
But that's what the beef started between him and Vin Diesel in these movies, which is why The Rock is not in the 9th film, because they were feuding. They were both trying to have that big dick energy of, no, I'm the big strong guy on set. I'm gonna win. It's like, guys, you're playing pretend in a movie.
Right.
One of you can, lose. And in this movie, The Rock kind of does lose in his first fight with Jason Statham.
Yeah.
But by the end of the film, having fractured bones, he's up and about, carrying around a Gatling gun. So he's still the big strong guy.
And I mean, they should have written his character out. Like once he did his thing for like maybe 1 or 2 movies, that they should have really just written him out.
He did not need to come back.
I think a lot of, this is just me guessing, I think a lot of him coming back for future installments had to do with the fact Paul Walker died.
Yes.
Because Vin Diesel needed someone to have that brother energy with, and he kind of has it with The Rock. You can kind of see it in this.
Oh, where they mutually respect each other.
Kind of. And in 6, I believe in 8 they have no on-screen time together.
Oh, because they could not stand each other.
Yeah. Now, like there are scenes of the two of them talking, but you never see them in the same shot together, I believe, because they didn't want to be around each other. He did that spin-off movie where he didn't involve anyone from the franchise.
I bet these movies pay so well. I feel like that's why people keep coming back.
It's a massive freaking franchise.
It was the most highly grossing movie for like 1 year before it got beat out again, didn't it?
I
think
I
Jurassic
don't know.
World
Maybe
took it over, but
Jurassic World came out the same year as this.
Yeah, I think it was number 1 for like one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
I believe it.
It is a massive franchise.
There was some interview Ludacris did actually where the interviewer asked him, "Hey, why do you guys keep making these movies?" And he was like, "Because they make money." Next question.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I can't blame them if they ask me to come. They're like, hey, you want to come star in another one of these films? We'll pay you this much money. I'd be like, yep.
You want to be in our goofy car movie that's less now about cars and more about action? We'll pay you $50 million.
They could have told me $2 million. I'd have been like, yep.
I'm there.
Because especially like for Ludacris and Tyrese, they're not doing much in these movies.
They really aren't.
Standing in the background talking.
They are, and this is more Tyrese than Ludacris, the comic relief.
Yeah, well, Ludacris is Tyrese's straight man.
Yes, yes. Which I think is why I kind of like Ludacris more. Tyrese is too goofy, his character.
I mean, that's kind of how he started, though. So
I get that. I totally get that. But I would like to see him mature over the years of them doing these franchises because he's been in it since 2000.
He's been in it longer than most of the people in this movie.
He's been in it longer than The Rock.
Yeah.
Because he got introduced in the second film, which is 2002, 2003.
Yep.
Him and Ludacris were introduced in the same film.
The same movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they've been in at this point. This movie's 2015, so at this point they've been in it for going on 12 years.
Yeah, they are literally the veterans.
Yeah, they've been in it over a decade
They've been in it almost 20 years.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, the fact
over
that,
20 years.
The fact that Hobbs and Shaw had a spinoff just makes me really feel like The Rock kind of wanted to be like not necessarily the main character in the franchise.
He wanted to be the
He
main
wanted to be the
character.
top dog.
but he really wanted to be up there in the franchise moving forward.
He wanted his own franchise, but we all know The Rock cannot carry a franchise. The Rock doesn't know he can't carry a franchise. That's the problem.
Fun fact: they have some future movies lined up. A couple spin-offs apart from the 11th film. They have another solo Hobbs movie coming out, but he's not partnered with Shaw.
Is it because Jason Statham doesn't want to deal with it?
I don't know,
Oh.
but it's called Hobbs and Reyes. Reyes, I believe, is Jason Momoa's character from Fast X, the latest film. So he's not dead, and he's probably going to join the family because they all inevitably do after 4.
Well, that was more stuff I didn't. Who?
Jason Momoa.
Reyes?
Reyes. Jason Momoa's character, who's the main villain in the latest movie that came out.
I don't know anything about these movies past like.
Does The Rock
Well,
own...
this one.
Yeah.
Does he own the rights to this character? Was that a stipulation?
I
Is
have
that
no
why
idea.
he's allowed to make movies without?
Well, it might be the studio owns it.
Okay.
And the studio wants to do things that way.
Was Hobbs and Shaw that successful that they were like, sure, give him his own...
Apparently.
I mean, the man.
It's
probably-
Fast and Furious. People are going to pay to see it.
Not to mention, the man could probably just pay to make his own movie. They'd
He
be like,
produced
true.
he produced Hobbs and Shaw. Him and Statham are 2 of the producers on that movie.
Oh, well, there you go. He'd just be like, "Hey, I want to make a movie. Here's the budget." And
I
it's
mean,
like,
the man's
all
a
right.
good businessman.
Well, his
He-
ex-wife is a good businesswoman.
His ex-wife is his manager. That's
He
true.
also has a lot of money. So
That's
Yeah.
true.
just throw enough money at it, they'll make it. If it's bad, hey, well,
He is from wrestling royalty.
And speaking of wrestling, he is having a slobber knocker with Jason Statham in his office.
Which, okay, let's talk about that. So The Rock comes in from talking to Elsa Pataki, right? And
I'm sorry, Elsa Pataki?
yeah,
Who is Elsa Pataki? I
That's-
know that name.
that's Chris Hemsworth's wife.
That's not her real name?
Yeah.
her name is Elsa Pataki.
If I'm not mistaken.
I thought you made a joke.
I thought you were cracking a joke.
I thought you just
No,
made
no, no.
a.
Her name's Elsa Pataki.
I thought you just made a frozen Hey Arnold joke just now.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, why are you roasting this woman?
Wow. The character's name is Elena.
Yeah, but her real name is Elsa
Oh my
Pataki.
god. I was like, I knew that last name sounded familiar. Fucking Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought this was an advanced.
A joke with
yes.
layers.
Yeah,
I thought
I
this was a
thought this
very
was a
layered
freaking
joke.
yeah. We had to cut into this one.
All right, go
But yeah,
move.
so-
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry, Elsa Pataki.
She has a beautiful name. Moving on.
So he comes in after talking to Elena. Is that better?
Yes.
He's walking in through his empty office, and
Not a soul in this building.
yeah, and Jason Statham is just sitting right there, and it's like, where the hell was security
This man is good at sneaking into a place.
in this government building? No security.
He does have a great moment when The Rock walks into his office because Statham's back is to him. He goes, clears his throat, and Statham just holds up one finger. He goes, "Yeah, you just give me 1 second." On The Rock's own computer in his own office. He doesn't even turn to look at him. He's like,
The
"Yeah, just give me. Hold on 1
audacity.
second." And this is where we kind of see the some of the Huckleberry shit of The Rock's character.
He is so country for
Yeah,
no reason.
Yeah, because he says something about, boy, that's the last computer you want to be hacking. He's saying boy and some bitch all over this movie.
And woman.
Woman.
Yeah.
But he really only says that to, for the most part, Elena.
What, I don't like.
I
their
think he says it
relationship.
to another character.
Oh, he says it to Letty at the end.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
But I like him and Elena's character because he picked her in the 5th movie to work with him down in Brazil.
Yeah.
Because he knew she wasn't crooked. But
And all those cops were crooked in that film.
all the cops were crooked. But he had to play it off like he was just being a sexist pig. Because they were like, why'd you pick her? He's like, I like her smile. But at the end of the movie, you find out it's because he knows she's not crooked. He was just didn't want them to know he didn't trust them. But I like their relationship. They have a good respect. Because right before they have this fight in the office, he gives her a letter of recommendation
Yeah.
for, I assume, a job transfer. Because she left Brazil and she's been working for the U.S. government since the 6th movie. No, the end of the 5th movie, I think.
I guess she's not going to be in Furious 8.
Maybe.
I think she is in Furious 8.
Again, I know nothing about these films beyond this movie.
I know
At all.
a little bit about each one, but I never bothered to watch them. They're having the fight, and
With the weakest glass between these windows.
Jason Statham flips a desk and then kicks a 300-pound Samoan man through a plate glass window in one move.
He's strong.
Insane.
That's a strong boy.
To quote Winston from Game Night, man, glass be acting weird these days.
Tables be acting crazy tonight. When they're having this fight, they're just smashing themselves through all these plate glass windows, these glass tables, these desks.
And yet,
Not a scratch on anybody.
no blood.
Nothing.
The only time there's blood in this movie is at the end when Vin Diesel's bleeding from the head. That's the only blood in this film.
Well, no, because when our sweet, beautiful Kurt Russell gets shot
Oh yeah.
in the side. What?
Like Paul Walker, it's Paul Walker. He's dragging Kurt Russell through the warehouse, and then they get to the end, he just yeets him over the shoulder.
No, Vin Diesel did
Yes.
that. Vin Diesel just like threw him over his shoulder like a friggin' backpack.
It's like, why didn't we do that while we were inside?
But we'll get there. We'll
Yeah,
get there.
sorry.
In the fight, Dwayne Johnson has this gun in his office, the giant revolver that he had when he was introduced 2 movies ago. It's like this fucking, I don't know what you want to call it, a freaking T-Rex sized gun.
Yes.
It's huge. And that's why he doesn't immediately shoot Statham. But Statham gets the upper hand when he uses like a hockey puck looking explosive device and launches Dwayne Johnson, Hobbs. He launches Hobbs and Elena out the window, and they fall a good 3 or 4 stories onto the roof of an SUV and
He should
survive.
be dead.
Dead.
He should be dead.
It's almost as bad as that scene from The Dark Knight when the Joker drops Rachel out the window.
Yes.
And they just land on that car. But they tear up the office.
Also, how is he not injured from this explosion?
Shaw
Yeah.
was hiding behind a table.
Because the table.
He kept kicking tables
from a glass.
over.
Gotcha.
It's a good table.
Yeah. We get to the Toretto household, which we haven't really seen much of in the last 14 years.
Yeah.
Saw it a little bit in the previous film. Jack's playing with a little red car, and he makes some comment about cars. He throws the car out of the minivan, and Brian says, "Cars don't fly."
Yeah.
Very important later. And there's a big package on the front porch that has Japanese text on it.
I really need USPS to start scanning packages a little better.
Yeah, that one should have gone through the X-ray. But Mia is worried about Brian because he says he's not settling into this domestic life very well, and he misses being shot at. I think the exact phrase is he misses the bullets.
Yeah, because he's like, he doesn't miss racing. He doesn't miss the cars. He missed the bullets.
Yeah.
Well, and, if that's the case, just start shooting at him. He'll be fine.
It sounds like she needs to get her man into therapy.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That sounds very dangerous.
That's a little crazy.
He's going to wake up in the middle of the night running a freaking barrel of a gun against his head. Mia, I just missed the bullets. Or he's going to be like the guys from The Crow. And he's going to be swallowing bullets with shots.
Mm-hmm.
But Mia is double panicked because she's afraid to tell Brian she's pregnant with her second kid. And Vin Diesel is like ecstatic about it. He's like, no, you got to tell him. He's fine. He's a great dad.
Y'all have room in that big ass van.
Yeah.
Oh, Dom's super happy.
Yeah.
More family.
You would
Right.
think
Dom's
it was
like,
his
oh.
kid.
Tom's like, more for the team.
More family.
And then he gets the phone call, and it's Jason Statham. And this is where we get a little bit of the overlap between 3, because at the end of the 3rd film, Han gets into a car crash with this silver Mercedes, and the cars blow up. Well, Jason Statham, come to find out, was driving that silver Mercedes. He crashed the car. He blew up Han. And the package that was sitting on the front porch of the Toretto house was actually a bomb.
Paul Walker has the best reflexes in this movie.
Yes, because when this fucking bomb goes off, he slams the van door shut and then shields the window with his body and smashes the window to protect his kid. But again, not a scratch on anybody. They were feet from an explosion.
No blood.
Not a scratch, no Band-Aids needed. And this is kind of where they realize that, we're being targeted. Because Statham, when he calls him, he says something about, you don't know me, but you will. And he also left Dom's cross at the scene of Han's death in Tokyo.
I liked Han, though. Like, I feel like him and Gal Gadot's character, what's her name?
Is this the shirt you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, we have the movie playing on silent right now because we didn't properly do our homework and take notes like we normally do.
We're bad students.
Yes.
Yeah, we're worse mechanics, though.
But I would like to point out in this scene, though, when they're at the hospital visiting The Rock, right? The Rock has his leg in a cast.
Full leg, all the way up to his hip.
And his arm in a cast. In his underwear. No gown. And at the end of this movie...
No, don't spoil it.
Okay.
Don't spoil it. It's so good.
It's so dumb.
But what's even dumber is he's in this hospital bed in these casts, and he's got his fucking dinosaur-killing gun right there on his table.
His rhino just sitting right there.
Yeah.
Where's his hospital gown?
Where is it? Why is he just in his underwear?
They got to show this big beefcake. They can't cover that up. That's too much man. And then his daughter's there, which you find out in this movie he's got a daughter, and she's sassy as fuck to Toretto.
Yeah.
My dad said he kicked your ass once. He goes, well, your dad's on a lot of pain meds. He's not really remembering things all the way. Yeah. She comes back in Hobbs and Shaw, I believe.
Does she?
Yes,
Okay.
I think she does. But this is the scene where Hobbs gives Dom the rundown on who Shaw is, ex-military, ex-assassin.
I would like to point out real fast, though, there's all the security in the hospital.
Uh-huh.
Where was that security in the building beforehand?
What do you mean, before what?
Before the explosion. Like, Shaw wouldn't have made it all the way to up to the 4th floor, stolen the information, and exploded the building if the security had been there originally.
Didn't they explain that he was like
Oh.
an expert at infiltrating places, though?
If they do, it's in this scene.
Okay.
But he also tells him, like, hey, I can't let you do this, but I'm also not going to stop you from doing this. Here's all of his information. I'm not telling you to go get him, but when you do get him, let me know.
So dumb.
But it's kind of like a monster they created. It was like the government trained him and everything because they needed him to kill people. And then once they were done with him, they were like, well, we'll just, bip him. But he keeps killing everyone they send to kill him.
They should have, done it a little more discreetly. They should have pulled like a what do you call it? What do you call the movie? Suicide Squad.
Yes. Called it an elite team.
Nah, they should have just had like a bomb in his head.
Yeah, a bomb collar.
Yeah, just a chip in his skull. They don't even tell him about until the end.
Because Mia is pregnant and she has Jack, they send her to the Dominican Republic to stay with a guy named Mondo, who I don't remember from a previous movie.
At all.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one. But they keep her there like a safe house. Brian's checking radios and news to see if he can find Shaw and make sure the compound they're in is safe. Because there's guards everywhere.
You know what this scene reminded me of?
Scarface?
No. I've never seen Scarface. I was going to say, it reminded me of that scene in Godfather when they send Al Pacino away to Italy to hide out. Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. Mia's just, Michael. And then it cuts to them going to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or we cut to Bow Wow, right?
It's Dom says he's going to go to Tokyo to bring Han home because he tells her that, their family is in danger. And then he recycles the ending of
3.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift, where it's
That man with his terrible Southern accent.
Sean Black.
Sean Boswell.
No, I don't think so. I think his last name was Black. Oh no, you're right. His character's name is Sean Boswell.
But also at the end, or while they're in.
Lucas Black is the main guy from Tokyo Drift.
Oh, okay.
Played the character is Sean Boswell.
Yeah, but like at the end of that scene when they're in the DR, Brian's like, "Hey, I'm not going to do any more jobs after this. This is my last gig." And I don't know if that was foreshadowing.
I think a lot of the stuff in this movie that has to do with Brian is because he died.
Okay.
Like, there's so many scenes that feel like, oh no, we definitely filmed this because we know that this character's not coming back. Like the scene in front of the house right before the bomb goes off, and they're like having that sweet, tender moment. Like, look at Brian, look at him and Jack. It's like, did you guys film that for the movie, or did you film that because Paul died? And there's several scenes like that throughout this movie, especially at the end.
Yes.
So the scene in Tokyo at the end when you see Bow Wow and Lucas Black, it's the exact footage from the third movie.
And you can tell because Rockstar's all over it.
Rockstar's all over it. These guys haven't aged a day. Then we cut to after his little race, because at the very end of that movie, he has a cameo from Dom. Mm-hmm. And this just cuts to right after that. They're talking about Han, how he died, the stuff that was found after he died, which was a photo of Gal Gadot's character.
Yeah.
Giselle.
Mm-hmm. There we go. That's her name.
Yeah, Giselle.
That's the movie I want.
Yeah, the Giselle and Han story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
They have one little scene in the 6th film, like where they're hanging out in Chinatown and they get swarmed by these cops. Mm-hmm. It looks like a good spy movie,
right?
Yes.
Like I feel like it'd be like a really sexy Mr. and Mrs. Smith where they're not trying to kill each other.
Yes.
Yeah,
they have really good chemistry. And her character died in the 6th film. And there was this foreshadowing thing about Han always saying he's going to make his way to Tokyo. Mm-hmm. And then they killed him in Tokyo. Sean also gives Dom back his cross necklace, which I don't remember how Statham got it, unless it was found on his brother at the end of the last movie. But he just left that as a calling card saying, hey, this belongs to Toretto. I'm doing this because of him. Mm-hmm. Then at Han's funeral, they're talking about how they believe Shaw is watching them right now at the funeral, that he's out there somewhere.
And oh boy, wouldn't you know?
He's right there.
Yep.
They're having a conversation between Tej, Rome, and Brian about the next funeral we have is going to be for Shaw. And Vin Diesel has like this sixth sense in this scene. He's standing there grimacing at Han's tombstone, and he suddenly feels like he's being watched. And he jumps in his car and starts chasing after this.
Is Letty here?
No, I think she's still off finding herself because she said
okay.
at the cemetery because she can't remember. Mm-hmm. She wants to go figure out who she is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't think maybe he just heard the car?
Maybe, because these cars are loud as hell.
Instead of having a sixth sense, he might have just heard the car.
He might have heard the car, but also the windows on this car are blacked out. How would he possibly know that, that's Shaw?
I mean,
instead of maybe someone else just grieving in this cemetery.
Who else would be creeping around the cemetery?
I don't know, man. It was funny to me. It was funny. It's one of those superhuman things Vin Diesel has.
He listens to a lot of cars. He probably knew exactly what type of car it was and everything.
That car sounds English.
He's just like, I know what kind of car that is.
Mm-hmm. It's the kind of car that he's going to chase through a cemetery and chase across L.A.
Yeah.
I don't think we see any cops in this movie until
the end.
Please don't.
Until like an hour and 40 minutes into this film.
Like the whole time I was watching this, like, where the hell is LAPD?
Doing other stuff in other cop movies.
Yes.
He just knew. He heard the car, and he's just like, nobody in my family drives a car like that. No normal person would be driving a car like that. It's got to be Shaw.
It's a soon-to-be family member, really.
We don't drive sedans.
European exports? What?
Oh, no, all they drive are European. Oh, no, Japanese exports. Because, like, Brian's go-to car is a Nissan Skyline, which I don't think he drives in this movie ever.
He's like, we either drive American or Japanese. No in between.
Wait, who doesn't drive? Who doesn't drive in the movie?
No, I said Brian doesn't drive his signature car in this movie.
He doesn't?
I don't think so. He drives that Subaru later, and then when they're driving through the streets, he's driving a Honda, I
Honestly,
think?
he spends most of his time driving that Chrysler.
Oh, the minivan? Mm-hmm. No, I don't think we see the minivan again in the whole movie. Minivan was a good character, protected Jack from the explosion.
Yes.
But when Dom finally catches up with Shaw, they play a little chicken in this underpass, and they just crash head-on into each other. Neither one's wearing seatbelts, and both of them get out of these cars without fucking scratches on them. But Dom does have his trusty sledgehammer.
His emotional support sledgehammer.
He has hammer space.
Yep.
He pulled that out of his hammer space.
Uh-huh. And he's ready to use it.
Y'all know what the most unbelievable part of this movie is? That's saying a lot.
That's a lot.
It's that these cars still drive with how fucked up their undercarriages have to be. Their suspension has to be, like, insane.
The fact that they didn't immediately die after the crash,
yes.
That's pretty unbelievable as well.
Mm-hmm. That they just get out. No one's wearing a seatbelt. They just get out.
It's so far away from where this franchise started. Like in that first movie when
they're stealing
DVD players.
Yes.
But at the end when Vin Diesel, his car gets clipped by that train and he crashes, he gets out of that car and he's legitimately fucked up. Mm-hmm. His arm is in bad shape. I think he's busted his head. In this movie, he just crashed head on into a Jason Statham's car, which was reinforced to not buckle so he could do the most damage. He gets out of his car and just like shakes off his shoulder like, oh man, that was a mild inconvenience.
Goddamn sledgehammer.
Right. But they're talking about you came after my family. He's like, you came after my family, or your family came after mine first. And this is where we meet Kurt Russell's character, Mr. Nobody, the shadowy government agent.
Does he come back?
Mr. Nobody?
Yeah.
I want to say he does. I want to say in a later film he doesn't, but his team does.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I feel like Kurt Russell would be in this movie like multiple times. I feel like he would be like the Alec Baldwin of this franchise.
Oh, like how Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I want to say he does, but I don't remember.
That's good money that they're paying him to be a Men in Black character.
Right? Oh,
I made that same joke.
Yeah.
When we watched this movie last night, I made that exact same joke. He looks like straight out of MIB. Black suit, white shirt, black tie, black sunglasses.
He came to Flash Dom Toretto and make him lose his memory too.
Yep.
Then him and Letty can be together with no memories.
Dom, Letty didn't have amnesia. We actually used a neuralizer on her, and we set it back too far. She forgot way too much.
Well, this is now a Men in Black movie.
That'd be a good tie-in. That's a crossover I would like to see, actually.
Men in Black and Fast and Furious?
Yes.
They were going to do a crossover with Transformers at one time, I think.
That's a brilliant idea.
It's goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
Those movies, I think, are worse than these movies.
Yeah, you hate them. But you've seen them all.
I've seen
in theaters.
every single live-action Transformer film in theaters because I hate myself.
You watch movies too much, maybe.
Well, I found a way to punish myself in the movie theater, and I'm going to keep doing it. They have an animated one coming out with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transformers 1?
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth's playing Optimus.
It looks pretty good, though.
It does look fun. Kurt Russell, top secret government agent, just invites this
Random
dude who is an ex-criminal, ex-racer, mechanic, owned a little convenience store, and was a professional thief, and invites him to this government warehouse where he has, just chilling on ice, a bucket of Coronas.
They go to the keg and he's like, "Hey, would you like a beer?"
It's ale.
Yes.
It's Belgian ale.
Yeah.
I prefer Corona.
And then he out of nowhere just pulls up a bucket of Corona.
And that label is just front and center. The product placement in this movie is beautiful.
He probably just knew that he liked Corona already.
He did.
I'm fairly certain they have a file on that guy, and they're just like, oh, he drinks Corona, so if I'm going to offer him a drink, I better have Corona just on standby.
Ready
But it's
to
just
go.
so goofy. You're a government warehouse, secret shadow organization, and you just have a keg of Belgian ale, and you have ice cold beer for this guy that you might bring into the fold.
Admittedly, if I was a secret government agent, I would probably have stupid shit sitting on standby.
I mean, I'm not
Or
paying
like
for
a
it.
mini fridge, maybe. That I feel like that would make more sense.
Bucket of
than...
ice with a Corona label on it. But he's basically bringing Dom in because there's this program they want called the God's Eye, which is just like the program that Bruce Wayne came up with, or that Morgan Freeman came up with in The Dark Knight.
Which came out in
2008.
Okay.
So 7 years before this, while they were writing this movie, they were watching The Dark Knight. Like, Morgan Freeman has some good ideas.
We can work with this.
Yeah, so it turns every camera, microphone, phone, everything into a surveillance device. And it was created by this hacker named Ramsey, who they don't have a file or a photo on.
Which is wild.
You would think. But basically, they want Dom to rescue Ramsey because she's being held by this warlord played by Jamin Hunzu. And they were like, all right, we want you to go in and save them. And if you do that, we'll let you use the God's Eye so that you can find Shaw and, put a stop to this little feud you guys got going on.
I have a question.
Yes.
No, they couldn't get anybody else. No other
Nope. The most skilled people to take down a former assassin.
or former Street Racer DVD
Street
stealers.
racers.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like they also needed people that were potentially expendable.
Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely. They can
Yeah.
easily disavow, like, no, they weren't working for the U.S.
Yeah.
government.
That makes sense.
Perfect,
These criminals?
perfect
No.
puppets.
Okay.
But
Previously-
I will say, though, I do like Kurt Russell's character. He's a man of his word in this movie.
Oh, he's great in this film.
He doesn't come across as sleazy, but he is just like, I'm gonna let you do my work for me, but I will keep my end of the bargain and let you use the God's Eye, because once they get it, they literally hand it to Kurt Russell and they're kind of hesitant to do it, and he's talking about how much power is in my hand right now. Well, no one can hide from us anymore. Well, here you go, Vin Diesel. You can use this to go find the guy I promised you I'd let you find. And it's like, holy shit, he's not being completely scummy.
Right? You know who I would love to see in these films? Goldie Hawn.
Oh,
Yeah, put her and Kurt Russell together in these movies.
she could be Mrs. Nobody.
Yes.
Dom Dunn tells him, he says he's going to need his team. And Kurt Russell, Mr. Nobody, all right, took care of that. And they just roll up in these black SUVs, the whole crew. Like they were waiting at the funeral, like, oh, we're going to get Dom later, but you guys right now come with us.
Oh, Brian was super ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what, I could get shot at?
I was like, oh, the bullets.
Let me tell my wife I'm about to go get shot at. I'll see you later.
Hey, can you guys pop one off right now? Just I need the thrill. This is where they come up with the plan of
The dumbest plan.
the convoy, because there's only one little bit of road where they can get to Ramsey, but there's no way to just drive to it. And
Roman
has his moment of, being the comic relief, telling them he wants to be a thinker.
Yeah, he wants to be the leader.
Yeah, he's always like the Shaggy. He's like they come up with a plan and they just throw him in. But he's like, I want to come up with a plan. And when they ask him, well, what's your plan? Oh, I didn't mean right now. I mean this very moment. But just being funny. But I think it's kind of like that problem with like Thor 4, where he's just too much funny. Like, I need some serious moments from this character.
He's really not that character. We have enough serious characters. We have one character.
I know,
who is
but
always serious.
Yeah, but the fact that his character is always goofy, it just gets old.
Yeah, but like I love his role in these films of, hey, you have to be the one to get us into this location. You have to be the distraction, the smoozer, the people talker.
I mean, it's a what do you call it? It's a group dynamic.
Yeah.
So you don't want each character going through these dynamic changes because that screws up the dynamic of the group. Mm-hmm. It's like a 5-man band type of thing. The leader, the lancer, the goofy person, the muscle, that kind of thing. Everybody has their own role to play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the comic relief character suddenly just becoming the serious character, then there's no comic relief.
Yeah.
No. It's not that I don't want him to be the comic relief. It's just I need him to not be goofy all the time. I need moments of actual seriousness from him.
I get what you're saying, though. It's kind of like if you're going to have these characters not have that much depth, can they at least have two sides?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's a coin. So occasionally you want to flip the coin every so often.
We were at Mr. Nobody's warehouse with the team getting together. They came up with their plan to... Well, they don't really tell us the plan in the moment, but Dom just says, reinforce this car's frame. All of them need upgraded suspension for their plan.
Really upgraded suspension because this is a dumbass plan.
It's wild. And then at the very end, they come up with another car, and Letty's in the car. So now Letty is part of this heist, this human heist. She says something about she's sorry about Han, I think.
How'd they find her?
Good question.
While she was out finding herself, did she find them too?
I guess. We keep getting little flashbacks from Letty. Like because again, she doesn't remember everything, but we keep getting these tiny little snippet flashbacks of her remembering stuff. When they get to after they talk about reinforcing the cars, the next scene is them sitting in cars and they're talking, and you don't really in that moment realize what exactly is happening.
Yeah, because I was like, this is odd.
And then you find out they are in a cargo plane, and they open the back door and they just dump these 6 cars out the back of the plane. Their plan is to literally parachute down onto the road.
I wouldn't say they dumped it. I think they intentionally drove out the back of these planes.
Well, they did, but they're dumping the cargo in a way.
Oh, okay.
And then it's funny that Tej is too scared to drive out the back of this plane, which makes sense.
Not Tej.
Damn it, Roman.
Which is wild because it's his plan.
It's his plan, but they knew he was going to chicken out, and they put that parachute on the back of his car that is controlled by Tej. So Tej hits the button, and literally Roman gets dragged out against his will.
Let's talk about this plan, though. And
it's
how,
so bad.
Like, I like that they're pretending that they're steering their car as it's falling.
Several thousand feet.
Yeah.
And they say something about it's got a GPS guided thing in it. Like it's supposed to help them land. They're in fucking cars. They're just falling. There's nothing on this car that is helping it aim where it needs to land.
And also, I feel like it's like as heavy as these cars have to be, they're falling so slowly.
Great parachutes.
And also, how many parachutes do they have?
Insanely good.
Well, they have 2 on Tej's car.
Roman.
No, damn it, Roman. Why do I keep doing that?
It's because you like Tej.
I do like Tej.
And you wish Tej had as much talking lines as Roman does.
Well,
yeah.
There should be much more Tej and less Roman.
Yeah, but luckily there's less Tej afro than when we first meet him in the
I
original movie.
missed that fro.
That was a lot of hair.
I miss Tej afro as well.
He wouldn't be able to get into these cars in this movie with that much hair. But yeah, it's like you're falling in an automobile. They didn't add extra wings. They didn't add any kind of flight system to these cars. And they say, don't worry about it. The GPS will land us where we need to go.
And then they're all not dropping at the same time.
No, but they're dropping kind of consistently at first. But when Roman gets out of the plane, it's he's nowhere near them.
That plane is gone, like
He
the
is-
city by the time Roman falls out.
He has passed the drop zone, but he still manages to land right there with them at the same time. They all land together, but they land on the road, and they're trying to catch up with this giant armored bus.
They look like little Hot Wheels falling out the car.
They do look little Hot Wheels. I played this game as a kid. Tej is actually in an armored vehicle. He's in a big Jeep.
Yeah.
It looks like the same Jeep that Dwayne Johnson's character arrived in the 5th movie. The one he was driving around Rio.
Sure.
It looks very similar to that. And they're trying to take down the bus. They first take down the rear convoy, which couple armored vehicles. They're shooting at Brian and Tej. They've reinforced the windshield so they're not getting through. They demolish the rear cars.
But like Brian's car is like literally taking on these bullets here.
Yeah, Brian and Tej. And Brian's just driving a little Subaru. So they knock the rear cars out of the way. They do like a single file line behind Tej, and it just made me think, oh yeah, single file to hide the numbers.
So they don't know how many of us there are.
Right.
Would this work?
Ramming all the cars, pushing the car in front to get more force?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay, because like I feel like theoretically all those cars should just be stacking up under each other.
That's what you would think, but this movie doesn't abide by the laws of physics
at all.
So we're not going to worry about that too much. But they plant these. Are they explosives or are they just like anchors on the backside of the bus to rip the entire back of the bus off?
Like I guess like grappling hooks.
But there's no wires attached to them when they shoot them.
Ow.
Which is why I was kind of confused. I don't remember if they were explosives or not. The bus has these 6 guns on the undercarriage on both sides, and they light up Tej and Brian. And Tej has this great line of, oh, they're armor-piercing rounds, but they don't pierce even the bulletproof glass.
They're taking out trees with these bullets.
They're destroying everything, but Brian and Tej's cars are totally fine. Like, these are clearly not armor-piercing rounds, except for when one of the bad guys gets up right next to it and they shoot that car gets demolished immediately. But the main characters have plot armor to go on top of their car's armor.
That's right. Literal plot armored cars.
Literal plot armored cars. They are explosives, and they have 2 more grappling hooks that they actually pierce the back of the bus with and blow the back of the bus off. And Brian, who does not have tactical gear at all, he's wearing a hoodie.
He's just in his hoodie.
He's got no gun, no kind of fucking body armor of any kind. This man hops on the back of this bus where these armed mercenaries are and just starts punching them.
He really misses the bullets.
But like what?
He so misses the bullets.
What gets me is he kicks out his windshield in this reinforced car.
He doesn't even kick it out. He just pushes it with one hand.
Yes.
Literally peels his windshield off like
He's
it's
like,
like
bye,
paper.
windshield.
Like he's opening a can of sardines. Just
Also,
peels this windshield off.
This car riddled with bullets. Huge.
No smoke. Armor-piercing rounds. Not a bit of smoke coming out of the engine.
Huge. Not a scratch on Brian.
No, of course not.
Nothing.
Of course not.
They didn't get through the car.
Which doesn't make any sense. Is with their armor-piercing rounds? No.
It got lodged, It pierced the armor, but it also got lodged in the armor.
He should look like Sonny from The Godfather.
Yes. Yes. And
like Swiss cheese.
And Denzel.
Yes.
In Training Day.
He's dead. But Brian kicks these guys' asses. He managed to get to Ramsey.
By himself.
Yeah, no
These
other
guys
help.
have guns.
No help.
They watched him crawl up on top of the car, drive into the thing, crawl into the thing, and no one was like, hey, maybe we should shoot him.
No, let's let him get up here first.
Yeah.
Then we'll shoot him.
Then we'll start fighting.
Uh-huh. But he saves Ramsey, and Ramsey is played by Natalie Emmanuel.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce that? Emmanuel. Genius.
Emmanuel.
Natalie Emmanuel. She was Daenerys Targaryen's
right-hand lady
for many seasons of Game of Thrones. She is the computer hacker. She's the one that created the God's Eye.
She's like Lady Tej.
Yeah, very much. Lady Tej. And we meet her, she's got big hair too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what a throwback.
So they need her to find the God's Eye.
You know what my favorite part about her?
What?
In this film is she stays getting thrown into cars.
Oh my God, yes.
She gets thrown into so many different cars in this movie.
As soon as she meets these people, it's like, I'm going to throw you out of this moving vehicle.
Yeah.
Into this moving vehicle. Well, I told Erica when we were watching this that when you think you've seen the dumbest thing in this movie, you haven't.
For real.
No matter what happens, with them launching the cars out of the back of the plane, the head-on collision between Vin Diesel and Jason Statham, and they walk away without a scratch.
Paul Walker in this very scene when he's running up this bus.
Very scene. The explosion of the house earlier and no one gets hurt. When you think you've seen the dumbest thing, there's just one more to top it later on. Now Ramsey is in the car with Dom, and Brian is trying to get off the bus, but Jason Statham has found them again. So I don't know why they need the God's Eye. Jason Statham finds them, no problem.
Jason Statham does not need this software at all.
He is like a fucking Resident Evil tyrant. He's a stalker. He's always there when it's the least convenient.
He probably has like I don't even know.
His own God's Eye?
He must, because he's always finding them.
Maybe he just pays attention to like police reports or something.
Look, Kurt Russell, I don't need your God's Eye. I have my own.
I
And
have
already
my Devil's
know.
Eye.
I know where Dom is at all times.
He just has like a whole dominant Toretto tracker. That's his thing.
Yeah,
Maybe-
he put a tracker in that necklace.
Yes, an AirTag.
Yeah, there's an AirTag inside Dom's necklace.
And which makes sense because he has that on for the rest of the movie.
He does, and fucking Shaw finds him every fucking where they go.
Every time.
Everywhere.
But can we talk about her grip? Because like Paul Walker throws her onto the car. She's not hanging on to anything.
No.
And this car is going like she's getting thrown around this car.
Well, to be fair, she is on the windshield, on the hood. The
Yeah.
car is going forward.
Yeah, but the car is also swerving.
Well,
She's got a great grip. She types a lot.
Yeah.
Amazing,
sense.
she played a lot of rugby.
amazing finger strength.
Okay.
Grip strength. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Her deck stat is really high.
Yeah. So they're flying down this mountain. Bad guys are chasing them. Shaw is chasing them.
I wouldn't even say Shaw's chasing them. At this point, Shaw's just driving beside them. Casually.
That's true. They're kind of keeping pace.
Yeah, he's trying not to die.
But Dom knocks Shaw out of the race pretty much. Just wrecks his car. Or no, Roman does. I think Roman comes in for the save.
Yes, finally.
Yes, he finally catches up.
Misses the whole thing just to show up at the end to save him.
Right. But Brian is fighting like one of the mercenary security dudes on the bus right before it crashes at the edge of a cliff.
Because the guy was shot, right? The driver?
Yeah, the driver got shot. Oh, this is where the bad guy's car does get annihilated by the side guns, where
Yes.
our hero's cars didn't get a scratch, pretty much.
Well, they probably just didn't arm their
Yeah, they had regular cars.
yeah.
They didn't have super armored cars. They probably didn't think, oh yeah, some team of armored goons is going to show up and just start shooting us.
Right. But when the bus crashes, Brian and the mercenary look at each other. They look at the back of the bus where there's a big opening. They start running for it and decide, no, I need to make sure you die, so I'm going to close this security gate so you're trapped on the bus.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Yeah, but he has a great line where he's like, too slow.
Yeah.
And so Brian runs to the front of the bus, which is hanging over a cliff, and he climbs out the top, is running along the top of the bus as it is slowly sliding over the edge of this cliff. And Erica immediately made the comparison to Legolas.
Yeah, the
I
Hobbit.
did the same thing.
The Hobbit, yep. Just defying physics. And it's really great because right as he gets to the end of the bus and he leaps off the remainder of the bus, Letty comes and does a
Like she drifts her way around the edge.
yes, that's
Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
she drifts, and Brian just barely grabs the back of Letty's car, and she swings him back over onto the ground.
High stakes.
It's so ridiculous.
I guess that was she was like, in honor of Han, I'm going to drift my way across this cliff.
Tokyo Drift.
Letty drift.
Yes.
Rome was not afraid. Rome was afraid to drop out of a plane in his car, but he was not afraid to almost jump his car off the edge of a cliff, trying to save what's his name?
Of course not.
No.
Because that car, he definitely came flying in there while they were on the edge of a cliff to hit that other guy's car. So it's just like, what exactly
He was
are
like,
you
this
willing to do?
is a smaller fall.
I don't know. That cliff is pretty high.
This is the dumbest. No.
He got them Legolas jeans. It's okay.
And then Nikes.
And those Wrangler jeans. He's got this.
He's like, look at my hoodie blowing in the wind.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid.
I don't even think he would have actually had the presence of mind to realize there's a car coming.
Right?
I can grab this wing while they're in that moment. I don't think he would have had just, oh yeah, I could just grab this and save myself.
When I tell you, this man has the best reflexes in the world. Letty just gets up. She's like, "You good, my guy?"
You okay? Get off the ground. We got work. We got work to do.
Great reflexes. Pull-out game, terrible though.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So after Statham crashes his car, he gets out. He starts running. He's got this high-powered sniper rifle. Dom is going down the mountain still, and he gets cornered by Jim and Hunzu's people. He's on the edge of the cliff.
How did they find him? Oh, because they were already chasing after Ramsey.
No, the bad guys that block Dom off are the guys that they were bringing Ramsey to.
Okay.
But if she arrived at their site, they would never have another chance to get to her.
Okay.
Because they would probably have tortured her and killed her.
Yeah.
So Dom tells her, "Hey, reach down there and put this helmet on, and make sure your seatbelt's on." And Erica last night when we were watching this was like, "Is he gonna jump off another cliff, like parachute down again?" And I said, "No. Remember when I told you it gets dumber?"
I was sure he was just gonna drive down the mountain. He was just gonna they're just go fly another parachute, be fine.
No, what is even better? What he does is they're cornered by Jimin Hunzu and his people. He's like, I want to know the name of the guy who's giving me so much trouble. After Ramsey puts this helmet on and straps in, Dom just literally spins the car around and drives off the cliff, and they tumble down and hit every fucking rock on the way down.
This car is demolished.
Then they don't die.
Destroyed. And Dom gets out without a scratch again.
I mean, but to be fair, I have seen NASCAR cages. They can take a lot. Like, those cars get destroyed, ripped apart. As long as the cage is still intact, they're fine.
Oh, yeah. Kurt Russell has a movie from Tarantino where he plays a stuntman who kills people with his car. Mm-hmm. Like the car, it's called Death Proof. And he tells one of his victims in the movie, like, yeah, this car is completely safe if you're sitting in the driver's seat. And he uses it to kill people.
Makes sense. This is the one part of the film where I'm like, I'll take it.
It's just so goofy.
Yeah. It's a dumb idea, but I'm like, this is believable.
So risky. Just driving off the fucking cliff.
I just don't understand why he didn't want a helmet, though.
Because he's too strong. He's Dominic Toretto.
Yeah, he's Dom Toretto.
He doesn't need one. He doesn't need a helmet. Was he going to get hurt?
Look at his. Have you seen that head?
He's wearing a helmet at all times.
His head is the helmet.
Yeah. Also, that guy. Well, yet another multiverse character. Right along with Hector.
Yes.
Which one?
The villain.
Oh, Jimin Hunzu?
Yeah.
Yep. Him and Hector need to be in their own MCU side show where they're both just these multiverse characters.
Well, two characters in this movie have been in the Guardians. Vin Diesel and Jimin Hunzu.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Yes.
What's his name also? Kurt Russell?
Oh, Kurt Russell, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
also
in
Guardians.
We got 3 Guardians cast members in this movie.
Yeah.
Just like, wait a minute. Kurt Russell was a major character.
Major.
He looked so much younger in Guardians 2 than he does in this film.
Didn't they give him the CGI treatment?
At the very beginning, yeah. I said I think he looks younger because he's got a big beard covering most of his face.
Yeah.
Where in this, he's clean shaven.
Yeah, that'll do it. Damn.
Dom gets out of the car a little dirty, but he doesn't have a scratch on him.
Also, the look on his face definitely was just like, I got in a heinous wreck.
He's like, I definitely should have rethought that.
But, did they already know he was going to drive off that cliff? Because they got down there, right as he...
Yeah, I think that was part of the plan.
Okay, they were like, hey, just meet me down at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, hey, I'm going to... But it was kind of almost like it didn't make sense because he didn't stop and get in that spot to drive off until he was going around that curve and those cars blocked the road.
Yeah.
But...
They just know Dom.
Right.
It was like
they saw that cliff and they're like, oh, he's going to...
Dom could put himself in life-threatening danger right here. Chances are good we need to be down at the bottom because he's going to throw himself off that cliff. Just yeet.
They're like, I know my man.
But when Ramsey wakes up, she immediately profiles every single one of them. She's like, Brian used to be an ex-cop or ex-military. Tej is the computer guy. Roman is...
the Joker?
The Joker. She calls Dom the Alpha, which is really funny. And she calls Letty Mrs. Alpha. And
Roman?
Rome.
No, I think it's Tej says something about, she was almost right. They're not married. And Letty gives Dom kind of a funny look.
Oh.
But they were asking her, where's the God's Eye? She goes, I mailed it to a friend of mine in Abu Dhabi to keep it safe.
Yeah.
So this is where they come up with the plan now we got to go to the Middle East. Because this is Eastern Europe somewhere where they rescue Ramsey?
Oh, is it?
I thought.
Oh.
I forget. But when they come up with the plan, they roll into Abu Dhabi in these super expensive cars.
Which, is that why they're flying those cargo planes everywhere? Is it because they got to transport the cars? But they had to get new cars anyway.
I mean, hey, it's a goofy movie.
The plan wasn't really to bust the cars up.
They just
It just happened.
It just happened.
Like the car, when they get to Abu Dhabi and they all roll up in their own individual sports cars, everyone's got these super fast, supercars, except for Dom. He's driving a Dodge Charger.
Well, Dom's American only.
Yeah, he drives nothing but Dodges, I think, for the most part.
Dominic Toretto, American only.
American only.
But when they meet Ramsey's friend, he's like, oh, yeah, the thing you sent me? Yeah, I sold it. I hid it in this car, and I sold it. Sorry, my bad.
And she's like, I told you to watch it.
He goes, well, it's safe at least.
Also, Ludacris decided he wanted to have a shirtless scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, they had to get it like an even guy. They were like, okay, we have all these naked women. One of y'all, take off your shirts. And they were like, Ludacris was like, I'll do it.
It's not also because what's her name had a bikini scene?
Maybe he was like, hey, I want you to see my goods.
Who's
know
that?
what you're working with. Ramsey.
Oh, because Ramsey?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramsey comes out of the ocean, this slow motion bikini scene.
Maybe it plays into the character.
Maybe it's just hot.
Maybe.
But they're literally rock, paper, scissoring for who gets to try to get with Ramsey.
I mean, when she woke up initially, the two of them were looking at her. I mean, I know everybody was looking at her, but
Yeah.
the two of them did seem to be like,
That's not a hacker. Hackers don't have bodies like
that's
that.
a good looking woman.
Uh-huh.
I think she works better with Tej, though. I ship that.
Oh, absolutely.
They are both,
They have good chemistry.
Yeah.
computer geeks. I don't know. Tech heads, hackers.
Yeah.
Also, I like how she gets out the water. Hair completely dry.
Yeah, how about that?
She didn't go under.
No.
That's true.
They just needed a scene where they had an attractive woman in a bikini.
Yeah. She only
Coming
went
slowly
like
out the water.
Yeah, a babe.
Auga.
But the friend is like, look, the drive you want is hidden in this super expensive sports car, up in this super expensive penthouse by this billionaire who's having a party.
Conveniently.
Conveniently.
This man.
And this guy, I think, is the one that helps them get into the party. So they all sneak in, and Taj and Ramsey go to what looks like the server room. Dom and Brian are looking for the car. Letty,
Is fighting Ronda Rousey.
she fights Ronda Rousey, but she also is she's the one that finds the access point to get them into the network.
Yes.
And Roman is just being Roman.
Roman's the distraction.
He is the distraction.
Comic relief.
Yeah.
Just embarrassing the hell out of himself. But it was funny because once they get in, they find this car, and they're talking about how there's only like 1 of 7 of these cars on the planet, and this guy keeps it in a penthouse.
Which makes me wonder how they got it in there. Did they build it in the penthouse?
I mean, they could have like maybe taken the window out and used a crane to bring it up there.
Maybe?
I mean, I don't think we really need to think about it too hard. There's anything else that happens in this film doesn't need to be overthought.
That's true. Also, this is the only scene where they all look remotely clean.
Oh, when they're all decked out to the
Yeah.
nines in these gowns and nice suits.
Like, no one looks like they're sweating too hard. No one looks like they rolled around in some dirt.
Dom looks very uncomfortable though.
Very.
Well, he's wearing a cummerbund. He's not used to it. I hate these tight belts. But they're like, he's having a little like flirty moment with Letty in the elevator, and she's still suffering from her amnesia. So she's still a little, what's the word?
Uneasy?
Uneasy. Yes, that's the perfect word.
She keeps having flashes throughout this whole thing, and I feel like this movie is an epileptic nightmare.
But it's funny because when she goes into the, I think it's like the guy who owns the penthouse. She goes into his bedroom and she shows off these cool martial arts skills that she suddenly knows and just like knocks this dude out in like 2 hits.
Yeah, because like this whole time in the scene, you're like, hey, I want you to remember where they started from.
Yeah, I kept telling Erica, I was like, remember, these guys started as mechanics who stole DVD players.
But
Now they all have amazing fighting skills.
Letty was working with Luke Evans last movie.
That is true.
So maybe that's where she picked up some skills.
Maybe. She might have. Tej also has some skills that he shows later, which are pretty fucking good. But it's just funny to me that none of them were shown to be like this in previous films. Now they're all badasses.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, they had to change it up, Action heist series.
The only one I would actually expect to be able to do that would be Brian. Because
Also,
he's got FBI training.
True.
we got more Guardians of the Galaxy characters, the Golden People.
True. I was just thinking.
Where's Adam Warlock?
Right?
So they find the car, and we have another moment of this is stupid, but it gets stupider. Dom just picks this car up with his bare hands.
Oh man.
Like I know sports cars are light. They're lightweight. But he picks this fucking thing up. He literally just grabs the front bumper and hoists the front end of the
picks the
car
whole
off the
shit.
ground.
But like, and it would have been like less stupid if Brian had been like, let me just grab this table real fast to help you hold it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you do that real fast. I'm going to prop something under it so you can let go.
Yeah.
But no, he holds it the entire time Brian is up under it. And Brian's like, you got this? And he goes, hurry.
Dom Toretto.
Dominic Toretto. Ronda Rousey is head of security, by the way. T-Pain is the DJ in this scene.
Which, another random ass cameo. I was like sitting there watching it. I was like, is that fucking T-Pain?
He was just in the area, and they were like, "Hey, man, you want to be in a movie scene?"
We're filming this over at Universal Lot. You want to stop by?
Yeah.
And T-Pain was like, hell yeah.
Also, Dom picking up this card. No one should be able to beat this man in a fight.
No one.
No one. He should just pick them up off the ground and throw them just across a parking lot and kill them, or just launch them into the air and just watch them drop and hit the ground. They die immediately.
But it makes sense that he comes out of these situations without a scratch now after seeing how strong he is.
But they started this shit in the fourth film. Him being
so strong, big strong
just
man,
unnaturally strong. Because there's a scene where he's holding a guy out a window by his ankle, like he's nothing. He's holding an engine up, an entire engine block up that's on a chain, and he's holding it with one hand.
Oh, that was dope. That was so dope.
Yes. In the sixth movie, he has that great part where Letty's car crashes and she gets launched out the front windshield, and to save her, he crashes his car and he flies across these two bridges and catches her midair. And they fly and land on the windshield of another car. It's just every movie they gotta up how
ridiculous he is,
unhuman Dom is.
Dom Toretto's superhuman.
For real, and you see it really bad in this movie.
MCU character.
You know what? Maybe he's on PCP too. He's on the same PCP that Ethan Hawke was on in that last.
Oh my
movie.
god, that's why he doesn't feel any pain.
Yes.
Like, I was hitting this with my friend Alonzo the other day.
Yeah.
So they can't find what they're looking for in the sports car. And Dom's making a distraction. He's making a huge fool of himself. Grabs this random lady in the crowd. And he goes,
Rome.
What did I say?
Dom.
You really hate Rome. You cannot remember this guy's name.
Tyrese.
Just start saying Tyrese.
I'm fucking struggling over here, dude. Roman grabs the lady in the crowd, starts saying it's like her 18th birthday, interrupts the DJ. No one is going along with this. Not a single person in this party.
Soul.
Granted, a lot of them might not know what he's saying. They are in another country.
True.
Where English might not be super popular. We don't really know because I don't know Abu Dhabi that well. But because of that, they realize that there's security breach. Ronda Rousey is fighting with Letty. There's a lockdown. And to get what they need out of the car in time, they just drive the whole car out. They drive it out into the party. Of course, Jason Statham shows up to this party.
Yeah.
He's got this big fucking gun.
Well, Dom's wearing his ear tag.
Oh, that's true. He's got his air tag on. Yep.
I will say, Ronda Rousey, she's not in this movie much.
She
did a great job for what little bit she's in.
Excellent job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said when she was fighting Letty, I was like, this is a sexy fight right here.
And
wait, but then when Taj knocks out that security guard and just does that thing where he just pushes him over, I was like, this is a sexy fight right here.
Oh my God. But what I like about this movie that I hate about the John Wick films is these fight scenes don't go on too long.
No.
When people get knocked out, they're knocked out. The fight's over. I like that. Whereas John Wick, they're knocked out and then they come back 5 minutes later for another fight.
Well, to be fair, in later John Wick films, everyone's wearing a fucking bulletproof suit.
That's true. They just hold up.
They used that too much.
Just held up their jacket.
Yeah, it was a fun thing in the second movie when they introduced it, but by the fourth film, every character has a bulletproof vest. So the guns are way less useful, so they gotta go hand to hand. Whereas in this movie, these few fight scenes we get are spread out fairly well.
Yeah, and they don't last too long.
No, and I think it helps that they're cut in between other moments. Like the fight with Ronda Rousey and Michelle Rodriguez is cut between Rome being a fool, Tej trying to do his hacking, and Dom and Brian trying to find the information in the car.
I don't think the fights are supposed to be the main focus of them.
No.
Definitely the heists, the driving
cars.
scenes is action, not martial arts.
Yeah, but it's like, you're telling me Letty can fight Ronda Rousey?
Yes. This isn't Ronda Rousey. This is a security guard
And
played by Ronda Rousey.
Letty was also the henchman for Luke Evans' last film.
I guess.
In her brainwashing, she was, given martial arts training.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny.
But also, Letty can take a hit.
Letty can take a fucking punch. She's from the streets of L.A.
Oh, you're right.
She be crashing cars.
She beats Ronda Rousey, and Statham shows up. And to get away from Jason Statham, Dom and Brian drive out of the building, and they're on the 50th floor. And the only option is to drive to the building across the way. And Brian has this great line while they're flying at the window. Oh, also, T-Pain is playing himself. The sign on the table says T-Pain.
Love it.
Nice.
he says, Dom, cars don't fly. Cars don't fly, which is what he told Jack at the beginning of the movie when Jack threw the little red car out of the van.
It's true, and it looks just like Jack's car.
Cars don't fly.
Cars don't fly, buddy.
And when they land, Brian finally finds the thing they're looking for. It's hidden in the center dash, and he just punches through, rips out the component, and the brakes go out. So Dom can't stop the car, so instead he just doubles down, hits the gas, and they fly through the second building and fly into the third building. And they destroy what look like a bunch of terracotta warriors.
Yes.
Because it looks like a museum exhibit. There's a bunch of people walking around. There's a bunch of old statues. And then the car still doesn't stop, and it flies completely through the third building, crashes down the street.
What I like about it is, like, there's a moment where I'm like, how do these people not notice that this car is coming through this window? Like, after all of this, like, they have no idea.
Well, to be fair, if I was in a
Museum,
or I was going to say a skyscraper,
Mm-hmm.
the last thing on my mind would be a car coming through the window into the floor I'm standing on.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, there's super sports cars. They fly into buildings all the time.
All the time.
So we have to put traffic lights on every floor to stop them from just plowing through.
But also...
Oh, this car is also bulletproof, by the way. Another bulletproof car. Another bulletproof sports car that they said can go up to like 242 miles an hour.
Well, I mean, like, if you're paying like $1 bajillion,
Yeah, but
might as well.
It would be so heavy.
That's true. Which makes sense, or makes it even more confusing how they got it up there.
Right? When they crash through, though, Brian and Dom, when they leap out, they're sliding across broken glass.
Yeah.
And again, no one's got a scratch on them.
good suits.
Good suits.
It's the suits from John Wick.
It's got to be.
John Wick suits.
Yep.
But I think the shot of Brian getting into the sports car, I think that was one of the scenes that was actually his brother.
Oh.
So we didn't really talk about it too much yet, but Paul Walker died a year and a half before this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was like November of 2013. This movie came out in the middle of 2015-ish. So they weren't done filming it yet. And to finish filming a lot of the scenes, they used Paul Walker's brother Cody as a body double. And they just put Paul's face over his in post-production.
They Tarkined him.
They really did. They Tarkined him. And I want to say some of those scenes are where Brian gets into the sports car. That was his brother. Mm-hmm. There's that fight scene that we talked about at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of his face is obscured or it's just dark.
The whole beach scene at the end is...
The whole beach scene at the end. I think that entire scene wouldn't have existed if Paul Walker had lived. Mm. I don't think that scene would have been there. I also don't think any of the dialogue about how...
He misses the bullets?
He misses the bullets and all this shit, them worried about Brian. Part of me doesn't think that would have been there if he had lived. But, I might just be looking too deep into it. Mm-hmm. But there's several shots and scenes in this film where it is after Paul Walker died and his brother Cody was stepping in as his double. When they get the God's Eye, it's that scene where they give it to Kurt Russell and he has that moment of, well, can I have it?
Let's circle back real fast.
Uh-huh.
The guy who bought the God's Eye from Ramsey's friend.
Uh-huh, the billionaire.
He gets it. Does he know what it is when he bought it?
I don't think so. I thought Ramsey's friend hid it in the car.
No, I thought he sold it
Uh-huh.
to the guy.
Maybe he did.
And then I was like sitting there like, if the guy bought this technology, why he was like, let me just put it under this car.
See, I assumed he hid it in the car and then sold the car to the guy.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then sure.
But I might be wrong. That's just how I remember it last night when we watched it. If we're wrong, someone leave a comment and correct us.
Please. Help us out.
Because we're not going to look it up.
No.
So Kurt Russell's like, can I have the God's Eye? They're a little hesitant to give it to him, and he has that whole little spiel about how powerful it is and what they can do with it. Mm-hmm. And he just immediately hands it back to Dom. And then Dom is like, Ramsey, now you can...
Hot potato with
They're playing hot potato with this little thumb drive with this amazing spy software on it. And they track Shaw down to a
little warehouse.
They call it an automated factory, so they're like, there'll be no people in there.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing about this scene is like, where did Shaw get the food? Because
he's got himself a nice little dinner.
A nice little spread. And I'm like, I think last night we were like, so did he call DoorDash? They like just missed DoorDash.
Yeah, the DoorDash guy was leaving. Or some little shitbox car passes them on their way in.
Yep. Little delivery.
Yep.
But also, like, I don't know why they used it to track Shaw when they just waited like 5 seconds.
Shaw's gonna find them.
Yeah, I was
Oh, yeah.
There's no need for this software.
Right.
Shaw knows exactly where Dom and his team are. He must have put air tags on everybody.
had to.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get the drop on him.
Yeah, because they couldn't find him, but he always found them.
Okay.
But Dom also tells them, like, look, we're gonna leave in the morning. We're gonna go get him. We're gonna end this. But he lied. He really wants to go because he doesn't want to put anyone in danger. So him and Mr. Nobody and Mr. Nobody's
now
people,
he doesn't want to put anybody in danger?
Now he doesn't want to put anybody in danger. But Brian knew that he was going to pull this slick one, so Brian joins him on this little mission. But again, they are not wearing any kind of body armor.
Is this not when he puts on that FBI vest and he's like, I gotta rip off the FBI section?
Oh, that's at the end when their final plan comes together.
Okay.
Yeah. When they really are literally playing hot potato.
Gotcha. Oh, with Ramsey.
With Ramsey. They get to this, when they storm the warehouse, they have all these special forces guys coming in. Again, they're all wearing full tactical gear, body armor. You got Mr. Nobody in a nice suit. And then you just have Brian and Dom. And Dom's wearing a sleeveless tank top again.
Classic. And his AirTag.
His AirTag cross necklace. Shaw's just sitting in there having himself a nice little meal. Mm-hmm. And
He's chilling.
he is just chilling.
Minding his business.
But it's great because he's like, is this all that warrants my attention? These few people? And he grabs a napkin and wipes his mouth, and he pulls a pin out of a grenade that he had hidden in the napkin. And he said something about, he threatens Dom's friends again, and Dom has this great line, I don't have friends. I got family.
Oh, yeah.
And Shaw goes, well, I got friends. And Jim and Hunzu's people storm into the warehouse.
My favorite thing about Dom is that man's a fan of Olive Garden.
Oh my God, yes. Dom, we're not going to Olive Garden. No, we gotta go. You know, they say when you're here, you're family.
Oh, God.
And you guys are my family. Look, Dom, yeah, we love you too, man, but we can't spend every weekend going to the cookout. Oh, but we're family. I'm almost turning into Sylvester Stallone.
I wonder if Vin Diesel and Sylvester Stallone ever did a movie together, because that would just be nothing but mumbles.
Oh my gosh, his gravelly talking and Stallone's stroke mouth. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, we're gonna race our cars.
This movie is it's so dumb.
It's so goofy, but goddamn, I did not have a good time
I had
watching it.
so much fun watching this movie.
But when Jim and Hunzu's people storm in, they kill all of Kurt Russell's guys.
Like, especially that one guy who was such a dick to Roman in the beginning.
Shepard. He gets shot right in the face. But Kurt Russell has this awesome little toy. He pulls out these night vision sunglasses. It instantly turns into Splinter Cell.
Yes.
It's fucking Mr. Nobody's Mr. Sam Fisher. And he's just shooting guys like that. It honestly reminded me of the scene from last week's episode where we talked about Training Day when Denzel steals that money and he goes out into the street shooting both of his guns.
Yes.
It reminds me of that because Mr. Nobody pulls out these two pistols and he's just shooting guys.
He literally drops the glasses and then pulls out the pistols like boom, boom, boom. And I was like, damn.
But Mr. Nobody gets shot a couple times here.
I was like, oh my God, he's dead.
He gets shot like in the chest and in the back.
And then he just turns and winks.
He turns to look at Dom and he's like, hey, I got shot. I'm out.
And then takes one more bullet.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
that a reference to something or something like that?
know.
Like, why was that? Why was it there?
I don't. But they don't kill him. He's wearing body armor, but he does take a bullet.
He takes a couple bullets and then
No, but most of the bullets hit the body armor.
Okay.
But he takes one bullet to the side. He actually did get hit.
But then Vin Diesel grabs him and starts dragging him through this warehouse. And then they get out of it, and then he just throws him over the shoulder. I'm like, we couldn't do this in the warehouse?
Well,
you had to drag this man with a bullet hole through this dirty ass warehouse?
Well, he had to carry him down the stairs.
Okay.
See, look, he's about to carry him down the stairs. That one step.
He's like, can't do it there, but
And then threw him in the van.
Maybe it was. You know what? I don't know why they do it. Never mind.
I think it's one of those things that just doesn't fucking matter. But they also lose the God's Eye in this moment. Because instead of making some kind of failsafe where they could use it remotely,
they brought it with them.
They literally hooked it up to a tablet and brought it in with them. So now Jim Hunzu has exactly what he wants. And the only way that they can, or Ramsey, I should say, is the only person that can shut it down. Mm-hmm. So they're not quite done with Jim Hunzu just yet.
But it's so weird is they have two expert hackers, two of them. And they could not figure out a way to remotely access this.
Hey, what's the most unsafe thing we can do with this software we just spent all this time trying to steal? We'll bring it right into the heart of the beast, or right into the den of the beast.
Why did they take it in there?
They knew where he was. They're like, all right, he's in his warehouse. We can leave the very thing that we stole earlier somewhere safe, and we can go in.
Or at least leave it in the car.
They had to set up the final
showdown.
Scene. They had to set that all up, so it had to be brought in. I feel like somebody in the writing room was like, "This is actually kind of stupid," and they're like, "There's no other way to set up the finale.
We have no more tension. We have to. How do we keep the tension
What
going?"
they could have done was had them break in thinking that he was in there, but he
Yeah.
actually just goes out to steal that from them.
Oh
while
yeah,
they're
he
going
breaks
in
into
there.
their breaks into their headquarters.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Jeremy, you should write for Fast and Furious.
I should be a Fast and Furious writer. There'd be so many more Rome scenes.
So
You're breaking back Ted's afro.
I'm bringing back Ted's afro. Yep, definitely.
I hate you both.
And I'm just gonna remove all of Dom's dialogue. He doesn't even need to talk.
No.
We can bring back Leon from the original film, that actor who has never been mentioned since the first movie, and he's never come back for one of these.
No, I would bring back the villain from the second movie.
Cole Hauser.
I love that man so much. He is so fine.
Because Tyrese was just like, he ain't gonna get out of jail, is he? I would bring him back
Yes.
just so Tyrese could be like, oh God, he got out of jail.
That'd be a
They
great
probably
villain.
will bring him back.
That would have been so funny.
This next movie is supposed to be the last movie in the main franchise. Supposed to be.
Yeah, well, because, he wants a Toretto's-centric movie.
Yeah, because we've never had any of those.
Because Brian was just like, he's gonna get you when he gets out, or whatever it was.
Yeah, because he's not getting out.
Yeah, he ain't
Brian,
getting out.
Brian, he's not getting out, right?
He should have gotten out.
I wouldn't mind if they brought Cole Hauser back in some fashion.
That could have been Rome's big moment of
Because
becoming serious.
almost every villain comes back in some way.
They should go back down to Miami. That would be nice.
And bring back the lady too.
Eva Mendes, she came back in.
She had a cameo in the 5.
5.
Because Letty's not in 5, and at the very end, she has a cameo of giving Hobbs a folder. It's like, these were taken in London last week, and it's a picture of Letty.
Huh.
But it's her only scene.
Brian's married now. He can't have that. What's her name coming
can't
back?
have her.
He's also dead.
Oh. Yeah. Well.
But they
Wait, did the character also pass away?
No, and they should have.
We will talk about that in the end. My
Okay.
biggest gripe why I stopped watching these movies.
Okay.
But when they
For now,
until we inevitably do more, because I haven't seen them, so they're on the table. So Mr. Nobody is like, look, you gotta catch this guy. I'm a shadowy government agent. I certainly can't call in more people to do this. Only you street racers can.
They're expendable.
Yeah. But they leave him, and he tells them, like a medic is going to come get me, and he goes. Dom tells Mr. Nobody, I'm not going to leave you,
which is wild because they leave him in the desert.
But it's funny because Mr. Nobody has a line that's like, "Oh, you're not leaving me, I'm leaving you," because the helicopter's already on the way. Because when they drive away, you can see the helicopter on the horizon coming to pick him up, and I think that's the last time we see Kurt Russell in the movie. Unfortunately. But I think he comes back for future films. I think.
I hope so. I really liked him. He was really good.
There are some good people that come join this franchise later on.
Yeah, because
I'll list some off after we're done talking about this one.
There are moments I'm a really big fan of the Mission Impossible franchise, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, there are parts of this movie that remind me of that franchise, and I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I like it so much because I really love Mission Impossible and I really like these movies.
That Abu Dhabi scene really helps cement that because Erica's favorite Mission Impossible is Ghost Protocol, the fourth one. That's the one where Tom Cruise is climbing that tower in Dubai. And it very, very similar settings.
This is around that time that movie came out.
I don't think I've seen the Mission Impossible films.
Oh, you would like...
There's 7 of them, and I like all but 2.
2 sucks.
I mean, number 2. The other 6 I enjoy.
They're really good.
Yeah, 2 is... Mission Impossible 2 is the movie we can thank for getting Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. The main villain in the second Mission Impossible movie was supposed to play Wolverine, but filming went on too long, so he had to drop out. And they cast Hugh Jackman. But back in Family 7, they're coming up with their plan of, all right, they have God's Eye now, they can find us, and they're going to find us, especially because they need to kill Ramsey, because Ramsey's the only person that can shut down God's Eye.
Yes.
So they want to kill her. They come up with a plan to hack the God's Eye, but they say they have to be within 2 miles of the program being used. So they're going to play hot potato with her. They're going to load her into these cars. They're going to keep her moving, and they're going to try to hack the system once they come looking for them. We're back in L.A., too.
And my only problem with this scene is...
throwing Ramsey from car to car?
That, but like all of this could have been solved if they just put like a paper bag over her head.
Yeah, if they cover... because the whole thing is it hacks cameras and microphones. So if she just doesn't speak and they cover her face, they wouldn't be able to find her.
Or hell, put her in the back of the truck.
Lay her on the floor.
On the floorboards.
Because Roman's car is like an old sedan with a big back seat. She could just lay right on the floor.
Right? And it's like, what's wild is like how they catch her is everyone, for some reason, everybody in this film has a S5. And so like they're just catching her on the phone cameras or the CCTV. And I'm just put a bag over her head.
Sunglasses on her face. Something.
Put her somewhere where there are no cameras.
Right? It's obscure. Just like, don't let her be in the window sight. Put her in a van.
Put a bandana around her face and some sunglasses on her. Make her look like an old-fashioned train robber. Something. Hide her.
But they were like, no, she's got to be in full view of these windows.
Well, I mean, you can understand why. We can't cover up this beautiful woman's face.
Change her hair and put some glasses on her. They would have never found her.
You know,
give her the Zoe Deschanel.
Mm-hmm.
Shave her eyebrows.
Give her the Clark Kent treatment.
Well, I was going to say, give her some bangs. Because have you guys ever seen a photo of Zoe Deschanel when she's not Zoe Deschanel?
I know what you mean.
No.
Yeah, I've seen it.
There's a photo... It's an old photo now, but it's side by side of her, like, basically from New Girl. Mm-hmm. She's got her classic look, the bangs, glasses, and there's a photo right next to it of her with her hair pushed back. She's not wearing glasses, and she's in a gown.
They Clark Kent her.
They did. It really does not look like her at all. Hold on, I'll find it.
Okay.
You guys keep talking, but I'll find it.
That's all right. I actually saw a person one time without their glasses on, and I was like, holy shit.
Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I'm just like, you look like a completely different person.
Oh, my God.
No, I have had that a lot because where I work, you have to wear beard nets and hair nets. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people I see throughout the day that I only see with beard nets and hair nets on. So when I see them without it, for a second, I don't recognize them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when COVID was going around and you would meet people with their mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as you, like, they took it off, I'm like, oh, is that what you look like?
Yes,
that
there's
so
that too.
much.
Yes, absolutely.
Rough times, rough times.
Rough times. Oh, no. She has a huge ass forehead.
Wow. I've seen that exact image is the one that I had seen when it was just like, yeah, nah, this does not look like her at all.
The Clark Kent effect is so real.
Yeah.
Well, back in the movie, they're trying to come up with their plan to get Shaw.
It's a terrible plan, but you know, it is what it is.
It's the hot potato. They're gonna
yeet her from car to car.
Yeet her from car to car while they're being chased. Dom says he's gonna distract Shaw. It shows like a scene with Brian and Mia. He calls her on the phone and he tells her I love you, and she goes, she acts like he's saying goodbye.
Yeah, she's like, don't say that.
Right, which I think this feels like something that was filmed after he died. But again, it might just be me overthinking the fact what they had to work around. Mm-hmm. But he tells her he loves her. She tells him don't say that, and he says, all right, well, give Jack a kiss for me.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, goodbye, Brian, or she's like, goodbye, Brian, and
no, I don't think they say goodbye, but when they hang up, then they say I love you.
Okay.
This is where he puts his FBI vest on, which I love that he still has. Where was he keeping that while he was on the run?
Like, you would think the FBI would be like, hey, we're gonna need that back.
Or the fact that we're just gonna confiscate everything you own.
Right?
But he rips the FBI thing off. So now Brian finally has a bulletproof vest on for the rest of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
Fucking finally. So Letty is in her car.
The one time he doesn't need it, though.
Right.
Because no one's shooting at him.
Well, no, they do when he's running to get the satellite back online.
Oh, okay.
So Brian is in his car. Letty's driving her car. Tej is in the back seat of Roman's car because I think he's doing some hacking stuff.
Is he also trying to remotely disarm? They're like, hey, just in case Ramsey dies.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I honestly, he might be checking radios because Ramsey has the computer for hacking.
Mm-hmm.
So Tej might not be.
Why wouldn't Tej just remotely start shutting down
cameras?
The cameras.
Because that would put a damper on what they wrote in the script.
That's right.
The script's not written that way.
Plot.
Is it this is the scene where Dom chases Shaw up a parking garage?
Yes.
And they have another game of chicken, but Dom has so much torque when he hits the gas that the front of his car lifts off the ground.
When does The Rock show up?
Afterwards.
He doesn't show up until they bust out the Predator.
Okay. Because we got to talk about that moment.
Oh, it's great. But he crashes head on. Not head on. He actually, the bottom of his car lands on the top of Shaw's car, and they start shooting at each other. Because Dom goes back to his garage at his house that wasn't blown up, and he gets out his supercharger, Challenger, that I think was the car from one of the earlier films.
Is it not the car from the first film?
It might be. I mean, that car gets wrecked,
Yeah.
and he goes on the run. So it might just be another one.
Well, he had time to come back. It's been a couple years.
It has, and they're rich.
Yeah.
Also, when he goes to get the car, we can see a Confederate flag in his workshop.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
But it's like, it's only for drag races.
Yeah, he busts out a double-barrel shotgun. He saws off the barrel of it.
Which is weird.
Because he uses this gun once and has an opportunity to take Shaw out with it and just fires it up into the air.
Well, Dom's not a killer.
No, he is, because he wants to kill this fucking guy.
And yet he doesn't.
No, because he wants to do it with his own hands. Because he starts doing they have a street brawl again. It shows that everyone's just like getting their guns ready. Shaw, Dom, and Brian.
Yeah, it's like everyone but really these three people.
Yeah, just these three. They're getting all geared up to go on a killing spree.
Well, no one else uses guns except for these three.
That's true. No one else really uses guns.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Nobody's people.
And they're all dead.
They're all dead.
It's a good thing that they brought the fight back to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, otherwise, how else would Dom get his car?
That's true.
Right?
Well, one thing this movie is missing is the Indiana Jones map travel.
That's what this franchise needs.
Because they travel around to so many different countries.
For no reason.
For no reason, for the most part. But we don't really see that. We just, boom, they're there. Mm-hmm. Also, another thing I love about all these movies, this is the 7th film. There are 4 that came after this. So I don't know about those 4. But in these first 7 films, we never see a single person stopping at a gas station. No one.
Maybe they're electric cars.
Bullshit.
There would have been just too much stopping at the gas station.
They'd be too quiet. But it's just funny to me that the whole franchise about cars, you never see them put gas in the cars.
Well, what it is every time they're standing on a cliff looking out into the city, someone's in the background filling up the cars.
Oh, someone's running by, like a pit crew.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Checking the suspension, making sure the tires are okay.
That's what Leon's doing.
Yes.
He's in the background of every shot, putting gas in the car.
He's the gas guy.
Yeah. He's an indentured servant to Dominic Toretto.
Hector should have been the gas guy.
Oh, Hector, yeah. Yeah. That'd be good, too.
He just brings them gas wherever they are.
That's it. Jimon Hunsu shows up in this fucking warship of a helicopter.
Well, he is a warlord.
He is a warlord. They're trying to take out Ramsey. This is where they split up and they start playing hot potato. They deploy their Predator drone, which...
It's a terrible name.
Terrible. But it just looks like a miniature version of the X-Jet from X-Men 92.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah. So they're being chased by this drone, and it takes out Brian's car first. Like, they managed to get their hacking software like all the way up to like 96, 97%. Mm-hmm. And then the satellite that they're using gets taken down when the bad guys figure out that's what they're using. Mm-hmm. The drone takes out Brian's car. Brian tells Ramsey to jump as they're passing Rome and Tej, and they throw her. These vehicles never stop.
No.
But they throw her from Brian's car into Roman's car.
Through the window.
And Brian jumps out as his car gets blown up. So now he's on foot and he runs to go reactivate the satellite.
But this is also another moment showing that Brian really has the best reflexes ever. Because, like, he throws her and then immediately jumps out.
Yep.
Like, and this thing is, like, going for them. And I'm like, damn, he's moving so quick.
Jumps out of a speeding vehicle, still gets not a scratch on him. They do a callback to the second film where he passes underneath of a tractor trailer.
Yes. I was getting very much Christmas Vacation vibes, though.
Oh, where they're stuck underneath that log truck?
Yep.
Yeah. Windows up. When she's in Roman's car, they do another switcheroo under a bridge. Like, they all jump out, and then the missile hits the car, so the bad guys think they got him. But then the God's Eye thing finds Ramsey again.
Because they couldn't put a fucking bag over her head.
Cover her face, and now she's in Letty's car.
Put a hood. Even if she just had a hoodie, throw the hood up.
Just throw a hood up and look down. Don't ever look up out the windshield.
Yeah.
And she says something about, well, what happens if they find this? And Letty says something like, this is it. This is our last car.
Like, why don't they ever steal cars?
They did in the 5th movie.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm. At the end of the movie, when they're planning to steal that safe, they steal a bunch of cop cars. Like 4 cop cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have that race through the street that's just going to draw attention to themselves that they don't need.
Is that the one where they're dragging the safe throughout the city?
Yes.
Destroying
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay.
I also think they probably don't steal cars because the cars that they would steal off the street just aren't souped up enough to be fucking
Useful.
blitzing it through the streets like they usually are.
That
Like we
makes
need
sense.
a car that gets like really high fucking top speeds, amazing performance. We don't need
Also,
some random sedan.
first cop we see in the movie is an hour and a half into the film.
Yeah.
Like, that's where the very first cop we see after all these shenanigans.
You know what I wish they would do again?
What?
Bringing it back to 2. I wish they would like get all their racing friends since they're back in LA again and just like come out or put them all in a little warehouse and then all start going down.
Oh, like when they did that giant like swarm of cars at the end
Yeah.
of 2 to lose the police?
Mm-hmm.
They could, yeah.
That would have been good because it would have confused the cameras.
It might have. But I imagine that would just be like, all right, that's a lot of bodies. That's a lot of people we're putting in danger.
Oh, they didn't care back in 2.
Well, in 2, the cops weren't trying to kill them. They were just trying. Those were Miami police,
Gotcha.
not L.A. police.
You're right.
The L.A. police are the ones that are going to beat you in the street. Miami police are just going to take your meth and go home and do it themselves.
You're right. You're right.
Maybe a lot of these cops just know. Maybe they've just been like informed. Like, hey, if you see like a car just hauling ass through the streets, it's probably one of these people. Just leave them alone.
If you
don't
see
chase them.
if you see a Dodge going down, just let go.
I mean, it could be like that philosophy from the third film. Like, look, cop cars can only go this fast.
Mm-hmm.
They know they can't go as fast as us, so they're not even going to bother trying to chase us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But again, it might be just one of those goofy things that we are not meant to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely you're not supposed to think too much about
don't.
this.
No.
These movies don't require a lot of thought.
Yeah, so watch the movie. This is not a thinking movie. Just watch.
Yeah, this is a cargo boom, people attractive, lady butts.
There you go.
I need some equal opportunity man butt.
They have,
Yeah, get
they-
some dudes in some freaking
Hoochie daddy shorts.
speedos and hoochie daddy shorts.
Yikes!
Equal opportunity perverts. I'm all for it.
Look, you got The Rock in here.
Yeah.
We saw him in his underwear.
That
Other
is
than the
true.
movie.
You're right.
You got Ludacris
You're
with
right.
his shirt off.
That's yeah.
You get what
We
you
got
get.
a few beefcakes. This is about the time where The Rock gets involved because there's an explosion out on the street when they're blowing up some cop cars, and it cuts to Dwayne Johnson in his
bed.
hospital room. I almost said hotel room, and he
Might as well
has
be at this point.
he has an amazing line in this scene. Babe, you want to tell us what it is? When he gets up out of bed,
No, what was the line?
You don't remember it?
No.
He says, "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?"
That'd be so funny.
no, I wish. He realizes he has to go help, and he goes, "Daddy's got to go to work," and he breaks the cast open by bending his fractured arm.
He has his arm fractured in 6 places, they said. 6 places.
And his leg, which is no longer in a cast, but it is in one of those boots, like what I had to wear when I fractured my ankle.
Yes.
And
He
he
just-
just leaves the hospital.
He flexes so hard that he rips the cast off.
Yep. Just breaks it right wide open.
He didn't even actually need to go to the hospital. He just
wanted some time off.
Yeah, he just wanted some off time. He
That's
couldn't
it.
get any, so he's just like, I'm gonna just pretend to be hurt, go to the hospital.
Ooh, I got a boo boo. Owie, owie,
He's
owie,
like,
owie.
I don't want to use my PTO. Can I get FMLA here?
Fast and Furious 12. They're all
Look,
superheroes now.
Luke, you've jumped out of that window 17 times. We know you're not hurt. No, I'm really in pain, guys. Ow. Elena, you saw.
They also brought him his tank top to wear at the hospital.
Yeah.
I gave him some clothes this time.
Gave him a tank top. He puts all of his tactical gears in this hospital room,
Which
So
makes no sense.
he's fucking good to go. And not a single person that was there for security is like, "Hey, Mr. Hobbs, maybe don't do this right now. Maybe stay in your bed."
well,
He does take a big thing of painkillers before he heads out, so he's high
As
the rest
fuck.
of this film.
it's the PCP.
He's on some good shit.
Also, in all honesty, if I saw him do that and then go to leave his room and I worked at that hospital, I wouldn't have stopped him.
You know what?
What are
You're
you
right.
fucking gonna do? Look how
Yeah.
big he is.
He just put a gun in his. I'd have been like, all right, bro. So you
This
leaving?
This
All
man's
right.
got a fully loaded weapon in his hospital room. He's 600 feet tall
And he's been calling people candy asses this whole time.
the whole time. Candy asses and some bitches.
Yes.
Hot damn. He took a page out of Stone Cold's book, didn't he?
That's it. So he leaves to go help out because he saw on the news as well what's going down. Dom has his knockout drag out fight with Jason Statham on this roof after they crash their cars again.
Unfortunately, he does not have his emotional support hammer.
No, he doesn't. He's got his emotional support wrench.
Crazy.
I wanted to see some real mollywhopping happen.
Right?
And I mean, you don't really get it. I mean,
they
they hit
went
each
for
other
it.
a little
They
bit.
went for it. Thought it was going to be a street fight. Because it is.
Yeah. so stupid. Because that's something Statham says to him earlier. Because he pulls out the hammer. He thought this was going to be a street fight, and he pulls out a gun. That's when Mr. Nobody saves him. But at the end here, when Dom's got the shotgun, you think there's going to be a street fight? And he fires it into the air, because it is. So stupid.
Look, man, like Erica said, we needed the campiness.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not arguing that one
If he
bit.
would have shot him, it would have just...
It would have been dead still.
That would have been done with, but it would be more realistic than what actually happens in a few minutes.
You're right, yes.
But the bad guys realize that they're using this radio tower to to hack their signal. So they take out the radio tower, and Brian now makes his way to get it back online. And as he's running through this factory, he is just swimming in this fucking bulletproof vest he's got on. It's got so much space in it.
He looks like a kid playing dress up in his dad's gear.
He really does. There's so much empty space in this vest.
And you know what I think it is? I don't think I think it was filmed after the fact. I think it was filmed after he's dead. I don't think that I think that it's to Paul Walker's body.
A lot of what we see for the remainder of the film is obscured Paul Walker face. Mm-hmm. Whether it's him just running, fight scenes. I think a lot of this was filmed after he died.
Yeah.
And you can go online and look up a lot of behind the scenes stuff that shows a lot of shots that were post and pre-release where it shows Cody doing the scene.
Mm-hmm. Second film we've done where the actor passed and they had to
reshoot.
I think so.
What's the other one?
The Crow.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he you can see where Cody's face was there, and then in the final cut where they superimposed Paul's face over him.
Excuse me, my throat.
Yeah, please. My throat is sort of dry all of a sudden.
It's all the talking.
As the people in my life will tell me, I can't talk a lot. So it's really great the way Hobbs takes out this drone. He steals an ambulance and he drives it over a bridge. Or drives it off a bridge that is over a tunnel as the drone is coming out of this tunnel, and he just smashes it.
Mm-hmm. Yet another questionable scene.
Yeah, and he gets out of this thing totally fine. He shoots the drone's camera twice, and he rips off the drone's Gatling gun. Mm-hmm. And he uses that to shoot at Jimon Hunsu.
After, once again, his arm fractured in 6 places, he lifts this gun, fights through the recoil, and shoots it.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah. And also...
Mm-hmm.
LA is in shambles right now.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like Detroit.
Where are the police?
They got blown up.
They're probably like, you know what, I'm just going to let the government handle it.
Oh, there was a lot of cars that got blown up when that drone was chasing them in the second car.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cars getting blown up.
Where are the police choppers? Why was
no police choppers?
Where's the military?
Mm-mm. Someone probably, like y'all said, said, hey, maybe...
Yeah, just leave those guys alone.
Yeah, could be. So Brian's making his way through the some random warehouse to get through the satellite, and he comes across the guy who was in the bus earlier that told him he was too slow.
Yes, which was a real random comeback. Like when he showed up, I was like, "Oh, you came back."
Yeah,
he gotta get paid.
I think Brian might be the only member of the team that kills anyone in this movie. He killed a couple guys on the bus. He kills a couple guys here in this warehouse. Mm-hmm. There's a John Wick staircase fight.
Yes,
but I think they went sliding down the staircase on a door.
John Wick or
in this?
Oh, okay.
In this, yeah.
When Brian gets to the top where he's heading, and the
parkour,
mercenary guy just barrels through the door and knocks the door off the hinges, and I think they go sliding down on the door, and they fall for a while too.
This guy lives for a good fight.
Yeah, this guy's having a good time kicking Paul Walker's ass.
Him and Ronda Rousey would have been quite a couple.
Oh yeah. But also, falling down these stairs and that sudden stop they meet, dead. Just leave me there.
I don't think this is Paul Walker's brother, though, because I read somewhere that it was the guy who played Shepard was Paul Walker's body double for a second. So
really?
So this might be...
Oh, well, I mean, it still explains why it's dark. His face is obscured for a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Because it's not him. But, okay. I didn't know that. He does kill this guy in a fun way. He attaches like a big spool of cable to him and pushes it down an elevator shaft.
It's very Looney Tunes.
It is, oh, yes, absolutely. But right before the guy gets yanked down the elevator shaft, he goes too slow. Mm-hmm. That means he was waiting to use that. He was thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
tell me I'm too slow.
Oh, he definitely thought about it. Once he saw that guy again, he's like, oh, this guy.
I go, I'm gonna hit this guy with a zinger.
That's also the only thing that guy said to him, I believe.
You know what else I think Tyrese brings to this franchise?
What?
Like his character, outside of being the comic relief and the charmer. He's also the only other guy who can really, really drive.
Tyrese?
Yeah. Not the actor.
No,
but the character.
Yeah,
like Roman can drive.
Roman can drive.
Yeah. So like Tej, he's not a driver. Like he can drive. He can drive fast, but he's not out here pit maneuvering situations.
I thought they were all good drivers.
We never really see Tej drive in Too Fast, Too Furious. Well, I mean, we see him drive in some of the few movies that came before this one. But when we're introduced to him, he's not a driver. Yeah,
because the whole reason they go and get Roman is because Roman is the one who taught Paul Walker how to drive.
Yeah. When we meet
because they were childhood friends.
They were. But when we meet Roman in 2, he's more like the guy who sets up the races. But
Tej.
What did I say?
Roman.
God damn it. Tej is the guy that sets up the races. He is a very knowledgeable car guy, and he's a tech guy a little bit in that movie. I think.
Yeah.
I think
it wasn't a hard leap to get there, but
no, yeah. I think that's something they really hit on in 5 when he comes back.
Okay.
I don't think he's in 4.
You don't think he's in 4?
I don't think so.
Does he?
I'll have to rewatch it.
Is 4 when they're in Rio?
No, 5 is when they're in Rio.
Okay, yeah, he comes back.
4 is the one where they're dealing with the Mexican cartel.
Yeah, he comes back in 5 then.
Okay, so 5. That's where he's really a tech guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I saw 4.
4's good.
4's not bad. That's the one where they introduced Gal Gadot's character.
Yeah. Was she working with the bad guy?
Yes, she was working with the bad guy. She's another villain that joins the family.
All these people just swapping sides.
For real.
Yeah.
During the rooftop fight, Jimin Hunzu has the helicopter fire a missile at the parking garage.
This part's so stupid.
And this is the part that I told Erica, the stupidest part of the movie. When it happens, you won't need to ask, is this the stupid part? Because part of the parking garage gets hit by this missile, and it starts crumbling. And the ground cracks under Shaw and Dom's feet. And Dom goes, you know the crazy thing about street fights? The street always wins. And he stomps his foot down and collapses part of this fucking parking garage. So stupid. They gave this man superhuman strength. It's insane.
They also gave him some terrible zingers.
Oh my God.
Gosh, yes.
I would fully believe that Vin Diesel writes his own lines.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to make me sound tough.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I really want him to quote Olive Garden in one of these films. I really want him to be like, when you're here, your family.
Look, when you're at the cookout, your family. But he reaches into Shaw's car and he grabs a bag of grenades because the helicopter's still firing at them. Mm-hmm. They can still get Ramsey. But at this point, they've already shut down God's Eye.
Yeah.
They managed to hack it. They shut it down. They can't use it. So now he's just shooting. And Dom drives his car off the edge of this crumbling parking garage and hangs the bag of grenades on the side of the helicopter. Mm-hmm. And then instinctively...
The Rock takes the Gatling gun and shoots.
No, he's out of bullets. He uses his revolver.
Right.
He uses the revolver and he shoots the bag of grenades and blows up the helicopter, killing the guys in the helicopter. And they rush to get to Dom's car because it's just smashed and it's buried under a bunch of rubble from the garage. They drag him out and he's unconscious.
The only time there's blood in this movie.
A few times there's blood in this movie. One of the few times one of the main characters actually gets hurt.
Yes.
But they're trying to do CPR on him. That's not working. He's not responding. And Lenny starts whispering in his ear that she remembers everything.
No, okay, wait. I would let's circle back to them giving him CPR, saving his life, and Lenny pushes him off. Like, why would you?
Oh yeah, you stop. That's not gonna do it. What he needs to hear is words.
It was like, ma'am, you gotta keep giving him chest compressions.
Give him air.
Yeah.
It's so funny because she whispers in his ear that she remembers everything. And she remembers that they got married around the time at the beginning of the 4th film. Mm-hmm. It was that moment where they got married, and she remembers it, and then he comes back to life. That's what resuscitates him.
The memory of him in that horrible tank top,
the white tank top at his wedding,
terrible.
And he's like, about time you remember or whatever. And she goes, because she's like, why didn't you tell me we were married? And he has that line of, you can't tell someone they love you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I kind of like that line. It's stupid as hell, especially in the moment that it's in.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it.
Timing wasn't great.
No.
No.
Like they could have had that moment in the hospital, in the back of the ambulance or something.
Yeah.
But her shoving Paul Walker off of him while he's
trying to save this man's life.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need that. He needs to hear that she remembers and she loves him.
That's right. That's what he needed.
That's it. Hobbs has Shaw incarcerated in this supermax prison, and this again, that Huckleberry shit comes out. He goes, "Well, boy, when you can dig through 38 inches of solid concrete and steel, you can get out of here. And when you do, I'll be waiting to kick your ass."
It's okay. It's Jason Statham. He's gonna get out.
But
He
it's like
does.
what's
He does
crazy
get out.
is The Rock leaves him chained up. Like,
Yeah, they leave his shackles on when they put him in the little room, his little cell, and that's the last time we see him in this movie. But the ending scene, and I am ashamed to admit this, I am embarrassed to say this,
I'm not.
this part of the movie had me choked up.
I did cry.
I was tearing up. This shit had me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but god damn it if it didn't fucking get me. The final scene of this movie is the entire crew. You got Tej, Roman, Ramsey, Dom, Letty, Mia, Jack, and Brian. They're all at the beach. They're all having fun. And Brian and Mia are playing with Jack close to the water. The gang is sitting back talking, and they're like, "Man, stop. Just look." And they're all looking at Brian and Mia. And this is just such a clear, we're doing this for Paul Walker's character. It's like, there's no other reason for this. It's just one of the many times where they're like targeting in on the fact he's gone, and they're acting like we're not going to see him again as the viewer. And we haven't seen him in 9 years in a movie.
Supposedly.
They haven't Tarkined him. They've come close, and I'll tell you about a few of them in a minute. But Dom just decides to get into his car and drive away.
Yeah, just leave Letty. You know, well, Letty did leave him in the beginning of the movie.
That's true.
Excellent callback.
Yeah.
Yep. But he's having this like they're all looking at Brian and Mia, and they're all like, so
They're like, he's out of this.
yeah, they're like he's gonna be done with this life and all that, but they should also be done with this life. And he's doing this little voiceover narration
Yeah.
about, well, he was my friend, and then it shows all these old clips from all the previous films of young Paul Walker, and it just everything from 1. They might have had some stuff from 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
All these old scenes of mainly Paul Walker. And
Like-
it's just this nice monologue he says.
Like, the parts that got me was, like, seeing how young he was in the beginning of
Oh my
those
God, when he
movies.
still had those frosted tips.
Yes, and I was
Oh.
I was sitting there, I was like, because it had been a long time since we had last watched the last Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, I think we watched 6 before we moved into the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had been like a year or two since we had last seen. So it had been like a while since I had seen Paul Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And like seeing him in this movie, knowing this was his final film, and then getting the flashbacks of him in like 1 and 2, and just seeing how young he was in 2001 to like now, I was like, oh, okay, you got me.
Well, what really got me was when that song started to play.
Yeah.
When that fucking song came on, I was like, oh no. Oh, here it comes.
Yep.
I'm watering up.
Watering right on up.
But Dom's driving down the road, and he comes to an intersection. And when he comes to a stop, Brian pulls up next to him in a white car.
Or a fork in the road.
A fork in the road. And you know, what, you said you were going to leave without saying goodbye? So you left your wife, I left my wife, and my pregnant wife, and my kid, and all of our friends at the beach. We're just going to drive off together.
They just left him.
They do. But they have this really sweet moment where the two cars, an overhead shot, and the two cars part ways, and we follow Paul Walker's car, and then I think that's when the screen fades to black and it says "For Paul" and end of our movie. And I firmly believe this is where they should have stopped.
The franchise?
The franchise. The route they took, they didn't kill Brian. They should have just stopped. Or, 2 other options. I think they should have either recast, which is my lowest option, or in the immediate next film, they should have killed Paul Walker's character. Brian should have been killed in the next film.
Because it makes no sense that Jordana Brewster is still in these films and her husband's not.
No, and they always talk about Brian just not being around. In one of the movies, they're literally having a cookout, and I want to say this happens in 9, and they're sitting around like, oh, we got an empty chair at the table. And Jordana Brewster's like, he said he's coming. He's on his way. And you hear a car, and it cuts to the street, and his Nissan Skyline pulls into the driveway. And Vin Diesel just has a smile on his face, but you never see Paul Walker's character. It's like, just kill him. The next movie, I believe, the main villain is Charlize Theron, and
Was she like secretly his sister?
no,
Oh.
no. I think her character's name is Cypher.
Yeah.
I think, much like
But John Cena is his brother.
John Cena is the brother, and John Cena comes in 9.
A secret Toretto.
A secret Toretto.
Yeah.
And the fourth film, the main villain is Jason Momoa, who is the son of the main villain from 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Honestly, I was surprised it took them so long to bring in an evil brother. That's usually one of the tropes they hit early.
dude, and they bring Han. I know in one of the future movies they bring Han back from the dead. Dwayne Johnson comes back in 10 for a cameo. Gal Gadot comes back from the dead in a later film.
I really want that movie, that Giselle and Han movie.
Yeah, and
I don't know if you're getting that one.
It'd be so good. It'd be so good.
That's why it can't happen.
but that's Furious 7. I had a good time with this. I like this movie. It's I think it's way better than 2 or 3.
I had a great. No, 2's still my favorite.
No, see, I
Two's
wasn't
still
big
my
on
favorite.
2, and
Two
I
the
really
best
did
one.
not like 3. My favorite is still number 5 though. I love
Certified
that
hood classic.
that heist when they're dragging
It
that
really
safe.
is.
Jeremy, did you like this one? What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it enough. It was a fun movie.
It's a good, fun, dumb film.
They're like you got your 5-man band, and they do things that groups do. Mm-hmm. Well, groups of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
There were 5 of them for most of the time, right?
The main crew?
Yeah.
I want to say 6. Dom, Letty, Brian, Tej, Rome. Oh, I guess 5, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were a
And
literal.
then by the end they had Ramsey. Yeah. Yeah, for the most of it 5.
And Ramsey was, well,
And then they lose
Ramsey
Paul
wasn't
Walker, so-
really a part of the 5-man band so much as she was the,
An add-on.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Damsel in distress.
Yeah, I guess. Because you know how like oftentimes you got a movie or a series or a show or something like that, and they're like, hey, there's this thing that we have to get.
MacGuffin.
There you go.
Yeah.
She was the MacGuffin.
She created the MacGuffin.
Yes.
So she was directly tied to the MacGuffin. So yeah, that's kind of what the role that she played in the movie was that. And then
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's kind of a typical 5-man band type
Yeah.
of story, which is why, as me and Adam were talking about earlier, some of the characters only have so much depth
Yeah.
because they're part of a 5-man band.
They really don't have a story arc. that-
Yeah.
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 I mean, Roman's story arc kind of.
Began and ended in 2.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. Tej,
No story arc.
not really a story arc there.
I don't think they originally planned for these to go on as long as they did.
Probably not.
No.
So the characters are just there.
Yeah. They're like, all right, this character's part of this franchise. We're going to bring him back.
Because I feel like the first 3 really are could be straight to DVD movies and be perfectly fine. And then
I'm going to say 2 and 3 feel like DVD movies to me.
2 is so good.
I just don't like it. But it really does feel like a DVD movie because you go from having all these characters, and in the second film, only two characters come back from the first film. It's Brian and the cop that is his handler.
Yeah.
The guy who was on, I think he was on Cold Case. Older black guy.
Yeah.
Don't know what the man's name is, but recognize his face.
I mean, at that time, I don't think they were doing the whole, not necessarily cinematic universe, but
No.
I don't think they were doing this whole, this is going to be
A
a
huge
trilogy
franchise.
of movies that
Yeah.
all tie into each other.
And I
don't,
think-
they weren't really doing that at the time, I don't believe.
No, and I don't think Vin Diesel came back because they wouldn't pay him what he wanted.
Yeah.
I believe. But now he produces all these movies. They're his movies for the most part.
I think when 5 blew up is when they were like, this is.
Oh, I absolutely think 5 is the thing that rejuvenated this franchise.
Yeah.
And once again, 5 is when they consciously decided these are all going to be action heist movies.
Because like 5 has the thing that I remember most distinctly about 5 is when they had that safe attached to those cars and they were dragging it through Rio and destroying all those buildings, and I was like, this is how we got here.
Because the fourth movie starts with Letty dying. They think she got killed by this drug cartel, and Brian is suddenly in the FBI.
Again.
In 4, no,
Oh.
In the first movie he was LAPD.
Okay.
He was undercover. Second film he was a fugitive, and they roped him into helping them to help him get off the hook for his fuck up. In the fourth film, boom, he's suddenly in the FBI. And by the end of the fourth film, he ditches the FBI life to become a criminal. Because it ends with them.
And they let him keep
the vest.
Yes.
I don't know. But at the end of the fourth film is when they are showing that they're going to break Dom off the prison bus because Dom gets sentenced to go to prison at the end of the fourth film, and 5 starts with them breaking Dom out, and now they're all on the run, and that's why they bring in Hobbs
to hunt them down.
To hunt them down in Rio.
Yeah.
Yep. And 5 is Hobbs coming to them for help to catch 6 to catch Baby Shaw, and he tells them if they do this, he'll clear their jackets, and he does.
Is Vanessa Kirby in this?
Vanessa Kirby is in Hobbs and Shaw.
Playing Jason Statham's twin.
Younger sister. Not twin, they're just younger siblings.
Okay.
I mistakenly once said that I thought they were playing twins, but they're not.
I think it's hilarious, and I think they should be twins. I think it would...
The 20-year time gap between the two of them?
Yeah, I think it would be, like, right in line with the stupidity of this film.
And their mother is played by Helen Mirren, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. And some famous lady plays the Toretto grandma in 10.
Is it Rita Moreno?
Lady from West Side Story?
Yeah.
Yes, it might be her. Yeah. They get some wild people to come into this franchise.
Well, it's a good franchise.
But if anyone picks to watch another one, then we'll cover another one. Yeah.
I do like these ones.
But do you guys feel like taking a guess? You don't really have a choice in this.
Oh, okay.
On how much this ticket would have cost us back in 2015?
10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to say $13.
Okay.
I was going to say $10.
All right. Well, you're both over, but Jeremy is closer. It would have been $8.43.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I know that's not a sarcastic. That really isn't saying it. I feel like tickets are still roughly should be around what they are now.
You'd think. You'd hope. But that was our conversation on Furious 7, Fast and Furious 7. Mm-hmm. I feel like we forgot to mention it's directed by James Wan.
Yes.
Who directed several of these films, and he was going to direct 10 until apparently he got into an argument with Vin Diesel and he quit.
Classic.
I think he's a horror movie guy. I think he directed the first Saw movie.
Oh.
I think. I might be thinking of the wrong guy. I think he also directed Aquaman 1.
That checks out.
Yeah. So that's Furious 7. Thanks for listening.
Wait, do we want to say what next week's?
Oh my gosh, you're right. I totally forgot to mention that. So next week's movie will be Beetlejuice.
Corey's pick.
Corey's pick.
He's definitely gotta be present.
He's gotta be. We're gonna drag him kicking and screaming away from birthday parties, which is why he couldn't join us for a couple episodes. Or this episode, I mean.
Too much family.
He's got a lot of family birthdays in June.
Actually, that's on brand that Corey couldn't be here.
Because of family.
Because of family.
Oh, man. Family. Which I think we had a family joke at the end of the Godfather episode, too.
Yes.
Join us next week where we talk about Beetlejuice, Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, which I enjoy that movie a lot. I'm looking forward to a conversation on that.
Has the love of my life, Catherine O'Hara.
It's a good movie.
Very good movie. So, I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Jeremy.
Thanks for joining us. You guys have a good one.